talk to you in a minute.
Oh, I guess we are live. Okay, I didn't see that part. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is In the Paint. We have a special Wednesday evening edition due to the fact that yesterday was game one of the NBA Finals and we didn't want to really conflict with them because we know you guys are probably watching that. So we're here tonight instead. Welcome. My name is Roddy Jones. I'm your host / moderator, and joining me is, as always, the man that created the show, Mr. Mark A. Cunningham. And I also have my two good brothers with me, Nunya, aka I'm exposing Chandler, and also my man Dom from the NC. How you guys doing tonight?
What's up,
All right. Dom, you there, man?
Good evening, gentlemen.
There he is.
Sir,
All right.
What's up, fellas? Let's get it on and popping.
Missed you guys. I missed you guys, and I haven't been on in a minute, so we're gonna get into this real quick. Let's talk about the NBA Finals Game 1, which was last night, and it ended with the Phoenix Suns being victorious over the Milwaukee Bucks, 118-105. I gotta tell you, I put something out there in social media, specifically our Facebook sports group called In the Paint, of course, and I had a feeling that Milwaukee's gonna lose, especially with the return of Giannis. I just felt that I'm sorry. I'm not. Listen, it's not a secret. I'm not a fan of this guy. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he deserves MVPs and all that. No, sorry. But however, I figured with his return, I think they play better ball and the ball moves around a lot better with him out of the lineup. You know, and it's more of a team thing. You got Holiday. I love Brook Lopez. I've loved this game for like a long time. He's very underrated, by the way. And also Chris Middleton. You know, right. And I figured with the return of Giannis, it was going to result in a game 1 loss. And this is not to say that they're going to lose the series. You know, they're going to lose their chance at getting their championship first since like what 3 decades, whatever, 3 or 4 decades. If I'm not mistaken, maybe even more. Yeah. Thank you very much for that clarification. But I'm just saying, at the same time, I figured Milwaukee's going to lose that game. You know, so we'll see. And we also know about the adjustments of Budenholzer, or maybe I should say non-adjustments. Yeah, lack of adjustments for Budenholzer, because this has been an issue that's been going on for a while. I don't know if his job is saved because they actually reached the finals. I don't know if he might be able to keep his job because they made it, and under false pretenses as well. But that's another story for another day. Yeah, that's what I just felt about Game 1. I like I said, I'm not a fan of Milwaukee, so if you hear me say that, you could gather how I feel about the whole series and who I feel that I'll be rooting to win. But I'll let you guys expand on that. So what do you guys think about this series?
Budenholzer in the previous series, when Giannis got hurt, he coached the next game. He was adjusting, through using his lineup, making on-the-fly decisions and changes. I don't know if he's scared of Giannis or something because he's the face of the franchise and the superstar. But when he came back, and actually he adjusted in the game that Giannis got hurt, because Giannis played well in that game and the team played well in that game. And he did make adjustments. Dude, you have 3 All-Stars and Brook Lopez, who was previously an All-Star. Brook Lopez can score in the paint. Brook Lopez can shoot the 3. Brook Lopez can hit from the mid-range. He's got better defensively. He can rebound. Dude, you gotta use him. Middleton, I spoke to Carl offline, who's our brother that is in our group chat. Me and him spoke offline, and we both said, and Bishop I spoke to offline. We both say, you let Giannis beat Giannis in the first 3 quarters to carry you, and Middleton, does his thing as well, and the other players do their thing as well. In the 4th quarter, around when there's 7 minutes left, that's game-winning time. That's when you start going to Middleton and you close the game out. That's smart coaching. He doesn't do that. And let the others talk. And then I have some more stuff I want to say.
For sure.
I think that Budenholzer is being exposed. For not being able to coach. Budenholzer reminds me a lot of Brad Stevens. When the Celtics got to the Eastern Conference Finals those 3 years, they got there with teams that nobody thought would. They got there with teams that had no real megastar. They had some kind of stars. You can call Jason Tatum a star, but they didn't have any megastars. They didn't have anybody that was MVP caliber.
Okay.
And he made adjustments. He coached and all that other stuff. And it was, oh man, he's a great coach. And then Kyrie came, and then Jason Tatum turned into a superstar, and suddenly he couldn't coach that team no more. Budenholzer strikes me as the same type of guy. You give him a Sacramento, a team with no megastar, and he's going to do really well with that team. Get you to the playoffs, maybe a final or close. He ain't going to win no championship unless that star goes down, and then he starts coaching again. So as long as Giannis is healthy, I don't see Milwaukee winning this series because I see Budenholzer turning back into the guy that he's always been. A guy that refuses to take the reins and tell his superstar, yo, go sit over there and shut up. The difference between a Phil Jackson, a Pat Riley, I can't stand Phil Jackson, but as a coach, a Phil Jackson, a Pat Riley, even an Eric Spoelstra, is they have the willingness to tell their star, their mega star, shut up. I'm calling it today, and this is what we're going to do. And if you don't like it, I don't really care, but this is what we're running. Budenholzer doesn't strike me like that. He strikes me as the guy that's going to basically fade into the wallpaper. So I'm not surprised Phoenix lost. I just tuned in and out. Honestly, it wasn't even worth watching to me because I think Phoenix wins this series in 6 games max. And I don't think the games, like that game really wasn't even, it was close for a minute and then they kind of took it and then they let their foot off the gas. But, I don't see this being a really exciting series. I really don't.
Okay. Okay, now that's interesting because I know Dom, Dom, you like to bring up the stats, so to speak, with the TV ratings. I know you have a penchant for that, so that's why I'm glad that it kind of segued from Chandler to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm quite interested in what you have your take on it, so to speak.
Here's the thing, guys. Before I get into my take on the game, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
No, before I get into the game, here's the ironic thing, guys. While we're all looking for superstars and super teams, the ratings are up 46 to 48%.
See?
That's just to start the show. I found that kind of amazing. And guys, that's from round 1 to where we are now. There's really not been no drop off. So again, is it fresh blood?
Yes.
People want to see something new, just like me, for example, as a fan. And I want different. Not that I'm glued into this. Don't get me wrong. To the game, again, we could sit here and talk coaches, X's and O's. It's kind of hard to tell you to sit down, do this, do that. I understand what Chandler's saying, but he's sort of one of the reasons they got this far. The bottom line is, guys,
he's a big reason.
They're playing a more younger, athletic team. That great soliloquy Mark gave about Brook Lopez. He just don't fit in. He can't chase an 8 all game, and that's sitting outside popping threes. That's right up Phoenix Alley. He misses. There's nobody under the boards. They're off and running. And when they get down court, they're a hell of a half-court offensive team, guys. They shoot mid-range jumpers. Ayton is unstoppable. Can't nobody stop him. I'll tell you this, guys, and I'm not rooting for neither team. I don't have Chris Paul winning his first ring. That's great for television. But it's be surprised, guys. I'll be surprised, guys, if Milwaukee wins a game.
Yeah, I can't
say that. I don't see them winning.
You know what? I could kind of agree with that. I mean, not only because of the fact I don't really like Milwaukee, but I could actually see that. I mean, to be honest, I gotta be honest. With Milwaukee, I have not been really impressed with them. Specifically in the playoffs, I just haven't been. Even when they was playing Atlanta, I was like, okay, Atlanta could actually win this. You understand? Real talk. And come on, let's keep it real. Atlanta was the 5th rank, and I know that may not have any standing as far as when you go to the playoffs or whatnot. You know, we've seen number 8 teams beat number 1 seeded teams in past years. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is just like the level of play. I mean, they got lucky. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's how I feel, honestly. And I know that sounds crazy. It might sound crazy, guys, but they got really lucky in getting to.
Luck plays a part in things.
Well,
I'm in agreement with you.
That's true. That is true. But I'm just saying they really got lucky. You understand? And getting to the finals this year. You know what I'm saying? That just really just made me crazy, especially against my Brooklyn Nets, because basically the Bucks did not beat the Nets. The Nets beat the Nets. That's what it comes down to. In my opinion, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there was some plays left on the court. I mean, Bruce Brown? Was it Bruce Brown? Yeah.
Yes, it was.
that game where he lost his cotton picking mind.
Right.
You know, Kobe. You know, Kevin Durant foot being an inch too big. You know what I'm saying? Right. He wore 16s instead of 17s. You know, the Nets being the finals, kind of nonsense like that. So luck plays a part in every championship. Nobody can say that it doesn't. I mean, go after the Yankees in '78, and Reggie sticking his hip out. You know what I'm saying? Reggie was 10 pounds lighter. That hit wouldn't have made it. You know what I'm saying? So luck plays a part in all of that stuff. But Milwaukee's there. In any other series, honestly, I'd be rooting for Milwaukee because I can't stand Chris Paul. I hope he never wins a championship. I do like Monty Williams. I do like Monty Williams, though, so I'm torn. I like that Phoenix team except for Chris Paul. I just don't like him. But in Milwaukee, if you look at
it, Chandler, you are different from other people. You admit that he fits that team, and then he made that team a championship team.
Yeah, because it's what I think was Dominic or said. They can play multiple styles. You want to play half court? You have a legitimate point guard who can run a half court offense. They have a legitimate big man who, if they want to put him in the paint, he can score in the paint. Oh, you want to have the 3-point shooting contest? Okay. Cameron Payne, Cameron, was it Johnson or
Johnson? Cameron Johnson.
Bruce Crowder, Devin Booker. Y'all stand out here and rain threes. DeAndre, you bring the big man out, and then you flash to the paint and get the rebounds and dunks.
Right, him and Crowder.
Right. You want to run up and down the court? Cameron Payne. We put Chris Paul on the bench. Run. So they can play multiple styles, where unfortunately Milwaukee can't play multiple styles. And Giannis is a huge reason.
Chandler, they could. You sound a little muffled, Chandler. They could play multiple styles if Budenholzer knew how to adjust, because he has a roster where he could adjust. Right. And that's my point. That's why I don't like them. That's why I don't really care for Milwaukee, because they don't utilize their personnel, you know, as well as they could when Giannis is on the floor. And and again, I don't know. It just, you know what? I was liking the Bucks back when they had Bob Lanier, and Marcus Johnson, and you know what I'm saying. And so I've been following that team a long time. I remember every year they got knocked out by the Sixers. I don't care what happened; they played the Sixers and lost.
Right.
So I would love to see them win. You understand? So I would love to see them win, but I don't know.
Just to piggyback a little. Chris Paul went to his former coach. Monty Williams was his coach in New Orleans. Monty Williams has grown as a coach. The GM, was it Jermaine Jones?
James Jones.
Excuse me. James Jones crafted a solid lineup. He drafted well. You draft Booker, and y'all went through some lean years, and you got rid of coaches or whatever, and they drafted Ayton. Picking up Crowder was a smart move. Drafting Mikal Bridges as well.
Exactly.
Drafting the other 2 young guys, the backup point guard, who they have some decisions to make at the end of the year, because I think they're going to win. I agree it'll be a 4-2 series. They got decisions to make on Chris Paul. Is Chris Paul going to opt in and take the $40+ million that he's owed, or is he going to opt out take a lesser deal and stay. And they got to pay and they got hold on, and they got to pay the young point guard as well. What's his market value? Because he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of this.
Well, Matt, before I'm sorry, I wanted to also let Reggie, your mic is live as well, brother. Thank you for coming onto the show with us. But to answer your question, my dude, doesn't he stand to make more money with Phoenix?
Well, he has the power. He can opt in.
I think you should opt in.
Or
you're on he's on a young rising team. They're right there. They could potentially win an NBA championship and grow from there. Plus, how many more years are you going to be playing? Let's keep it real. But stay where the hell you are.
Right, my point was that I don't think he'll go anywhere. It's just that they have to talk on the money. If it's beneficial for them if he opts out and then they re-sign him at a lesser deal,
less money,
so they can sign other pieces.
Now, do you really
think going to do that?
Do you really think that? Yeah, exactly. You understand? That's my thing. Do you really think he's going to do that to take less money or whatnot?
Hey, he has income coming in from commercials, sneaker deals. That's on him. I think he will opt out though.
I think he will take less money because he's finally found a place where somebody appreciates him. Listen, he ain't an easy dude to play with. We all know that. He's actually a jerk. Okay, when it comes to being on the court, he's a jerk. He's admitted that. Anyone who's ever played with him, against him, has said that. The dude's a jerk. So he's an acquired taste, right? He's on a roster full of guys who actually enjoy that personality. You understand what I'm saying? They welcome it. DeAndre Ayton said multiple times, Chris Paul's the first teammate he's had, and he's been in the league, 3 years now, who actually challenged him. Think about that for a minute. This kid's been playing the league 3 years, and not one person said to him, hey, you could be better than you are. Okay? It's the first person.
Is your dislike for Chris Paul because he is that guy who is challenged his teammates? Or is it others? And it's other stuff, and I understand.
Yeah, it's the other stuff. So my point there with him on the court is I think he's in a perfect place. He can retire in Phoenix and live he could be the governor of Phoenix if he wanted, if they win this damn championship. So opt out, take say $10 million less, take $30 million over 4 years, keep this unit together as long as you can. And listen, with the way LeBron is breaking down the fact that Anthony Davis can't walk and chew gum without winding up in an MRI tube, who's to say they don't win a couple more?
Chandler, you sound a little muffled.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, okay. We can hear you, but you just sound a little muffled, brother.
Well, I had the phone laying down, so.
Oh, okay. Okay, I hear you. All good. Oh man, like I said, I'm just, like I said, me personally, and you guys are probably right that he will opt out. I mean, I don't know. I think ego's a big thing in this too. You understand? I mean, I'm always thinking, well, why should I take less and whatnot? And I get your points, Chandler, on what you said about a 4-year deal. I get it. I understand it. But at the same time, I was having a hard time just accepting that. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, ego. You're getting $41, $42 million this season. You understand?
Or 120. Which one you want more?
I'm just saying. I mean, again, I'm just still saying. I have to bring this up, man. Let's not act like people's egos have never gotten away before in sports. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So, to me, that's a big issue. You know what I'm saying? If it works out the way that you guys say, that's a great look. Especially if he resigns with Phoenix at a lesser price, that's a great look. But at the same time, let's not act like this has never happened before. Where the ego gets in the way. Why should I take a pay cut? Come on, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
But yeah, they have a decision to make on the other on the other young point guard, Payne.
Cameron Payne, right? Mm-hmm.
Listen, he's on his the end of his rookie deal. I really don't know what his market is, but I think it stands somewhere between 12 and 15 million a year.
Yeah.
Because he's not a starter yet. And it looks like if, once Chris Paul is ready to go, the keys are in his hands. And then he'll, we'll see how he adjusts as being a player. But he's played well in big spots for them. Right. When Chris Paul went down, he stepped up big time. And a lot of people, I know a lot of people sit there and they say, well, I don't think you pay money to somebody who made a couple of shots and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, no. He deserves to make his money at market value, whatever that is. And maybe some other team will offer him the sun, moon, and the stars.
Maybe.
Right.
It's a possibility. You know what I'm saying? Where's my man Reggie at? Reggie, what's up, man? You too quiet, man. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm taking it all in, man. I'm taking it all in.
I was like, what's up with this dude, man? He's just laying in the cut, not saying a damn thing.
I'm laying in the cut, just taking it in, basking in the glory.
All right, basking in the glory, brother. I want to know what your thought is on this situation. You know what I'm saying, especially with the series and also with the Chris Paul and maybe even the Cameron Payne situation. Do you have any input on this? Or
okay, now I'm gonna start with Cameron Payne. It seemed like he'd been in the league for a minute, because wasn't he with OKC? Wasn't he with OKC?
I'll tell you in a second. Keep talking, brother.
Well, I think he played with Durant. He was behind Westbrook or something like that. He's been in the league for a minute.
He's been in the league for a minute.
That's why when you said the rookie deal, I was like, what?
Well, I might be wrong,
Right. Chandler, you said he was with OKC.
I think he was. He was drafted.
He was with OKC.
He's been around for a few years, but he bounced around. Yeah, he bounced around.
So he bounced around. Okay.
OKC, Chicago, Cleveland.
Oh wow.
And he's been in Phoenix. He's been in the league for about 5 years.
Yeah. With him, this is his shot now. This is his first real shot to get, that real money. You understand what I'm saying? The life-changing money. The money where you buy, whoever, a house, grandma, mom, whoever it was that raised you buy them the house. You know what I'm saying? And all of that money. You know what I'm saying? And you still have paper, you know what I'm saying, to burn. So it's going to be interesting what he does, because someone's going to offer him 15 to 20, actually. Somebody's going to offer him a lot. And then it becomes, okay, you can't really blame him no matter what he does, because listen, how many opportunities he gonna get to bite at this apple? I mean, if Monty Williams isn't there,
who got the fire engines? Who's being chased?
Yeah, he's not in this position. You see what I'm saying? So, I think he's the linchpin. I think he's the linchpin to everything, and it'd be interesting to see what Chris Paul, as the president of the Players Association, counsels him to do versus, hey, I'm your teammate and I want to keep the team together.
Right.
Okay.
He might. I think he'll keep it real with him. Listen, if you can get that bag, get the bag, but also I would love for you to stay here, but that's not my call. So you got to do what you have to do.
Right.
And that's something a good mentor would say to somebody, sometimes taking the bag and you go to a team and that team sucks, or they don't use you properly, or you stay there and you take the money they're going to give you, which in both cases, it's more money than you made already.
Right.
Okay. All right. I hear you guys. Well, are we ready to do some moving on?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into this next one with the NBA / ESPN. This drama soap opera involving Rachel Nichols making disparaging remarks. Exactly, we're making disparaging remarks about Maria Taylor, who is black, and ESPN on a leaked phone call. Jesus. Where do I begin? Yeah, exactly. Where do I even begin? First of all, I'm not. maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but I really don't give a damn, to be perfectly honest. I'm sorry. I just don't care. To me, this is much ado about nothing. That's how I feel right now. You understand? But we're gonna get into it, obviously. I think all three parties are guilty.
Even Maria Taylor?
Yep.
Even Maria Taylor.
Okay.
She needs to be held accountable too, because you could have listen. This thing has been like a band. From what I understand, when I read, this thing has been a Band-Aid. Okay, and they haven't really been cleaning the wound, and it got infected and it exposed.
Got infected again.
Yeah, it got infected. The wound got infected, and now it's exposed and whatnot. You understand what I'm saying? So there was at one point where they could have cleaned this whole mess up. What's that chick's name? Rachel Nichols. She wanted to speak to Maria Taylor, and just like two women handle it and just put the kibosh on it. Maria Taylor was like, no, she didn't want to do that. She should have. Come on, you know what I'm saying? Now we're being. Come on, you know what I'm saying? She wants to address it, and yeah, it was wrong. It was wrong what she said. I get it, but at the same time, she wants to address you. You know what I'm saying? She felt a certain type of way. And said, okay, you know what? I want to meet with her. I want to talk with her. And we could both talk this out like grown-ass women and get it settled. But, of course, I'm sorry to say this, and I know it's going to sound harsh, but the brat, Miss Taylor, was like, no, I'm not having it. I'm going to be, all in my feelings and not accept anything. So there we go again. More exposure, more infection to the wound. That's just my take on it. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is much ado about nothing.
That's it.
Sorry.
That's a great take.
Sir.
That's a great.
Now, see, my biggest problem with this whole thing, and
yes, sir.
You guys, I said this in the group chat, is where's the lie? See, she didn't say anything about Maria Taylor. What she said was about what ESPN is doing.
Right.
Maria Taylor tells her feelings about it, and now we got all these people parachuting in. By the way, a lot of them are, and I said this in the thing, and I'm gonna say this now. A lot of them are the same ones who said the same damn thing about Maria Taylor. By the way, if she only got that job with college football because she's black and she's a woman, and these the same men. All right, and the same people who are parachuting in now have been saying the same damn thing about Maria Taylor for the past 3 years. All right, now,
yes, sir.
Because Rachel Nichols is white, everybody's it's a black-white thing. No, actually, it's not. This is an ESPN thing. ESPN is doing the performative thing now, where we're gonna put some black faces out there, and people can't say that we no longer misogynistic because it's black. If there had been a black disabled LGBTQ woman there, she'd have the damn job. All right? Let's be clear on that. Right? So what ESPN decided to do was, now Rachel Nichols, for the entirety of her time at ESPN, has always tried to support disenfranchised groups. Always. Okay? She was using her platform for years to talk about things that nobody else there would talk about.
Yep.
Stephen A. Smith, none of they had nothing to say. Well, they ain't my business. I ain't got nothing to say about that. Can I have my money? They can say. All right. Now that with everything that's going on, now all of a sudden, you got some people feeling emboldened that, well, I can talk about some stuff. I can look like I'm woke now. No, you're not. You still selling out. Okay, you just selling out for a bigger check now. Now I get it. I get Maria Taylor might have some kind of feelings, but last I checked, Maria Taylor, you ain't really used your platform for nothing. Other than too much, you want to be the next Robin Roberts. So I think I've heard from you. I want to be the next Robin Roberts. Okay, Robin Roberts has to become Robin Roberts, by the way.
Yes, so she did.
My problem with it all is, again, I don't blame her for feeling how she felt. They basically pitted the two of them against each other in a zero-sum game, I think, as David called it in the group chat. This is about ESPN being misogynistic and racist, and now using these two to kind of cover up what they're doing. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is all this has done is help Maria Taylor, because her contract was going to be up after the finals. ESPN didn't want to pay her. Guess what? They have to pay her now. So what are you mad about? This woman just got you a bag.
You know how I look at it? Forgive me for saying this, but ESPN has been a shit show going back to the Keith Olbermann, Dan Patrick days. It was a clown show. It was a shit show, and they're going back to that. I got lost with this whole thing because to piggyback off what Chandler said, homegirl don't even have a contract. So now you're pitting women against women, which is really a no-go in today's society. Let that have been a man that said that shit, and we wouldn't even be talking about color. Everybody would jump on board. But she don't even have a contract. If ESPN felt so misogynistic, unracial, more diverse.
He said unracial.
She would have had a contract
right
before this illegally tapped, spreaded phone call went about. But like Chandler said, Rachel Nichols sort of, whether she intentionally, unintentionally played the race card, actually put a bone in this girl's pocket. Because again, I go back to, she's got approximately 2 more weeks before her contract is up.
Right. Yep. Yes, sir.
Now what does ESPN do?
Yep.
Are they going to go back and now they're going to pull their woke card since they just got their woke card back a couple of days ago, because now they're woke. They reinstated their woke card to fit the narrative of what's going on. You ain't doing business. You're running a shit show. You've been running a shit show for a long time. Don't tell me. Ask the ratings. Their ratings suck. And guess what? Now, I don't know if y'all heard it. Now you got this guy. I always get his name mixed up, man. That Amin guy. I don't know how to say his name. Amin something. Used to be a general manager or some kind of front office guy for Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Now he's going after Woj.
I saw that today.
Yeah, this is the whole thing behind ESPN now. It ain't about sports. It's about, I'm gonna cut R's throat so I can get more time in the paint. Whatever.
Right.
It ain't even about sports. It ain't about highlights no more. Like back in the day, you heard, Jumanji, all these funny takes during. It ain't about that no more. It's about social media, fitting the narrative, and let's run. So I commend Rachel Nichols because guess what? Taylor's in a no-lose situation now. What happens if ESPN don't give her a contract?
Right. She can walk to somebody else.
Right.
She can.
But so can
she probably will.
So
if that happens.
Nichols. So could Rachel Nichols.
Right. Rachel Nichols can walk.
They could all bounce. And then guess what? Let's say both of them bounce.
Right.
What is that? Where does that leave ESPN? Oh man, we were woke for 5 minutes. And
what's homegirl that used to be on the show with Jalen Rose before games? Her father's a military dude.
The clown Sage Steele.
See, there you go.
Now you stuck with Sage. Now.
But see, here we go with the name calling because Sage Steele don't fit a certain narrative. That this is where ESPN gets you. Either they're trying to pit this. First of all, ESPN is trying to turn their network into liberals versus conservatives, blacks versus whites, Republicans versus Democrats. They don't do sports no more, guys. Let's look at it this way, guys. Before Rachel Nichols, before Miss Taylor, ESPN has had a habit of just dumping people. Now, some of them may have been warranted. Don't get me wrong, but you never heard a peep of what they did to Golick. They just cut Golick off. All right, you're done with the Mike and Mike show, and
bye-bye.
Yeah, where's he at now? I mean, think about that. They've had a history of doing this dumb shit for quite some time.
Does Disney own ESPN?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
There you go.
And we know the ratings are going down, right?
Mm-hmm.
At what point does Disney step in and say, "Yo, we and clean the upper tier of ESPN"? I mean, the CEO, the head of video, all those people need to go if all this BS is happening.
But here's the catch, Mark. I'll give you an example. This Friday, Black Widow will make more money for Disney then ESPN will make on every contract they have. That's football, basketball, college football. That one movie will gross them more. Trust me, watch the numbers.
I don't know. I don't know about all of that.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know about that.
I'll tell you what. The last Avengers Endgame was the highest grossing movie ever.
Right.
Something billion dollars.
Yep.
ESPN ain't making that on all the sports they cover. No fucking way. Excuse my
I don't
friend.
know about
I
don't know about that. But,
okay.
That's up for debate. That's up for debate right there.
All right. Check this out.
Hold
guys.
on. You just went into another lane.
No, but check the contracts. Check the contracts of how much the NCAA is fronting, the NFL is fronting, and even Major League Baseball. Add all those numbers up. If you come up to $2.2 billion, that's just one movie, guys. I'm not talking about all the other movies Disney's making.
But that's a different genre.
But you said, when is Disney going to cut the cord? I got a funny feeling, guys.
I don't mean they're not going to cut the cord, but I mean they need to make changes.
They won't, Mark. They won't.
I agree with you, but they need to make changes with who runs ESPN because, like you said, it's a shit show.
Oh,
it is.
Those are your words, right?
Yes, sir.
And I agree with you. I agree with
you.
And I agree with you. ESPN has, like you said, they cut people, and also I think during the pandemic they asked people to take pay cuts. Am I right on that, fellas?
Yeah.
Didn't they ask people to take pay cuts? And then they did. And they slashed people's salaries and they got rid of people too.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. The ones who said no got fired.
And you know what? Some of them even joked. I was part of the salary cap hit.
Right.
I forgot his name. He'd been on ESPN for like 20 years. He said, "Oh, I guess I'm a salary."
Kenny Mayne.
Yeah,
Kenny Mayne.
Yeah.
Kenny Mayne.
Right. It's like R said. This happened a year ago, so you had a year to clean this up and not let it leak to us and to Joe Q public.
So basically, this leak phone call is pretty much synonymous with Monica Lewinsky's dress.
No, it wasn't. No, and let me be clear on what happened.
Who is that, Mark?
That was Reggie.
That was Reggie. Rachel Nichols, and we don't know. Maybe she did this on purpose because you never know. And I'm not putting that out the way that she was in her hotel room. She had just finished filming. The camera that they use feeds into ESPN's servers in Connecticut, and the camera was still on, and she made a phone call to homeboy.
Right. Well, yeah.
Was that a play for her? And then the footage stayed on ESPN servers for a while until somebody found it. Now that young lady, they fined her for what she did because she went to HR and went to other people above her with the footage, and she left ESPN. And she probably is probably working in like a Cleveland station, you know, as a production assistant now.
Crazy.
Is it true that Rachel Nichols' mother-in-law is Diane Sawyer?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, she listen, she's vetted in, fam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her
bread can be buttered at any time.
remember, guys, if my memory serves me correctly, she left ESPN one time to go to CNN.
Yeah.
And then came back.
Right. This was back in the early ESPN 2 days with cold pizza stuff and all of that. But I like the fact, Mac, that you said the Palace intrigue portion of the program cannot be discounted. For all we know, her, because here's the timeline. A week ago, they started leaking the stories about Maria Taylor's contract being up at Disney now, ESPN not wanting to pay her. Okay. Initially, they offered her 5, she wanted 7. Then they pulled the offer, and then it became one between 1 and 3.
Right. But Chandler, before you continue, we know that if I come to you low, you're gonna come high. So I have no problem with her asking for that. But continue, brother.
3 days after this story was online and everywhere, they were, oh my God, Maria Taylor might leave, and the whole I want to be the next Robert Roberts thing. Suddenly, here's Rachel Nichols' conversation. Now, maybe with me, I find the timing curious because this timing helps Maria Taylor. See, everybody keeps talking about, it hurts Maria. It helps Maria Taylor.
Oh, it helps her big time.
Because if ESPN lets her go, they prove Rachel Nichols right. That she was just a diversity hire, that she was just basically, you know what I'm saying? Or you pay her, right? And then you got to get rid of Rachel Nichols and pay her all her money so she gets her bag no matter what. Right. So at the end of the day, I come back to Maria Taylor. Number one, why are you in your feelings? Or did y'all both cook this up? Because the Palace portion of this is something.
Bro, I've been me and R been in this for a minute. You know, I do film production. You know where cameras are at all times. It's happened a year ago. You know what I'm saying? It happened a year ago, and ESPN, y'all didn't clean that up. Y'all didn't scrub that. Y'all didn't get no non-disclosures from people.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
It's
ridiculous.
Chandler may have went X-Files. But
I'm just saying.
I was getting ready to say, wouldn't it be funny that if somewhere down the road, her and Taylor bounce to another network, same network, get their money, and leave
that's a possibility,
and leave ESPN high and dry with all that, with yet more egg on their damn face.
It's a possibility.
I love it. I would love it.
Oh, that would be something.
Because here's the thing also, Maria Taylor has only sent an email out about how she felt, and she hasn't said a thing about this situation, which is also smart on her part, for me.
Like Chandler said, it's really not a situation.
Nobody can't run with nothing. Go ahead, Reggie.
Right.
I said, like Chandler said, it's really not a situation. It's like they're saying, it's a money bag for both of them. Mm-hmm. There's no losers in this. The only losers that it may be is ESPN. That's it.
I got a question for y'all.
Yes.
The dude that was on the conversation, he works for LeBron and he works for other NBA players. Mm-hmm. Money said, I'm sick of BLM. I'm sick of Me Too. Should he be hit with should he catch an L?
Oh yeah, and it's funny how nobody wants to talk about him. It's all about Maria Taylor, but he said the worst. He is the one who said the worst stuff on that phone call. Okay, him. Right. But nobody got a problem with him because he's helping them all get their money. It's funny how that works.
Right. I got another question. Somebody said I was on Eton Thomas's line on his Facebook, and somebody said that if LeBron fired the dude, LeBron would catch a repercussion. I'm like, no. LeBron is the money cow. He will catch very little blowback from firing that dude.
But it's just so funny when you hear these takes. Like, have you ever heard anybody give Louis Farrakhan backlash for saying he's sick of Black Lives Matter?
Did he?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you something. He told them, Jesse Jackson.
You know what? You're right about that. He did say that.
Remember when he came out to, not Farrakhan, when he came out to, what's the little guy from New York that lost all the weight? Sharpton.
Brother
Sharpton. Yeah, brother Al. Brother Jesse. They was questioning, why ain't you at none of these marches? He said, because I'm sick of this. Y'all don't come to no marches when 24 African Americans get gunned down in Chicago. You want me to march with you? He said, I'm sick of it. He didn't say sick of this shit. You know, Farrakhan's a very well-spoken individual. He may be out there sometimes, but he gets his point. Nobody got mad at him. They was like, oh, that's just Lou.
I gotta no disrespect to any of my brothers and sisters who are FOI members. I know a few people who are or were, but I'm not really a fan of Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, I love him.
I can't flow. I can't flow with the Scientology he rocking with.
That part, Mark, yeah. But it's some of the. If you go back, and I don't want to get off topic, but if you go back to when Farrakhan was like the Farrakhan, and then you follow him now, he's still saying the same thing, but he's saying it in a really in your face type of way now. Like he said, people are getting gunned down in the streets of Chicago. I don't see nobody marching there.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with him also. Minister Farrakhan, you got 2 mansions in Chicago. What are you doing? What are you doing in your own backyard, brother?
Yeah. Well, he tries. Him and that Catholic preacher and priest, whatever they call him in the Catholic world. Him and his white dudes, the only ones that you ever hear doing that. You know, I follow Chicago a lot, Mark, because it's
you do. You tweet every day just about on Chicago.
Right. It's a shame what's going on, but if you check the history, I forgot his name. He's I don't know what they call him in that realm, a rabbi, a preacher.
I think it's a priest if it's Catholic.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So him and Farrakhan have been the only ones that ever. And that's where he got fed up with this. You want to march for this and march for that, but I don't see y'all here.
Here's the thing. Before you say anything, Chandler, I agree with some of the things Minister Farrakhan says, and some of the things he says are truthful, factful, and on point. But there's other things I can't rock with him.
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to disagree and say they're the only ones. There's a lot of community people in Chicago that live in Chicago and try to do things all the time. Now, the fact that doesn't get publicized, to me, is irrelevant because they're not looking for publicity. They're doing it because they're trying to help their own communities. Right. And not for nothing, I always hear Chicago. But take a look at the statistics for Rochester, New York. They've only had their 36th murder.
Say that again, Chandler.
They've already had their 36th murder. Okay?
This year?
Yes, this year. Now, see, everybody likes to bring up Chicago because everybody knows Chicago is a predominantly black city. I'm not talking about you, Don, but the media loves to bring up Chicago. There's a lot of predominantly black cities where there's a whole lot of black people dying that nobody wants to talk about. But let's talk about Chicago all the time. Let's not talk about the fact that in Rochester, the mayor just got ousted because the husband was involved in was selling drugs, the whole drug sting and everything else.
What?
Yes, what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's not lying.
This is what pisses me off because everybody wants to say Chicago. There's a hell of a lot more Chicagos than just Chicago. Okay? So for all these people with platforms, stop telling me about Chicago. Start talking about Flint and Saginaw and Rochester. Start talking about those places. Start talking about trying to help those places. Don't just use Chicago to buttress a point and saying, well, how come y'all and again, Dom, I'm not talking about you, but that Chicago is used as a straw man for a whole lot of people for a whole lot of nonsense.
So is New York City. Go ahead.
Right, but for one reason, guys, if you track it, I don't track it, but if you track the numbers, it's like an ongoing issue in Chicago with the homicide rate every year. And we're talking 1,045, 1,100, and 25 of these cases are being solved. That's where you start, and it's a major city. Of course, a major city is going to get more light, and I'm not knocking Rochester, don't get me wrong. A major city like that, like New York now, now they're starting to climb the ladder on violent crimes, and they're always going to get more of the light because I assume people think, they should be better. They have all the money. They have this. It's a big city. I think but Chicago's numbers are staggering, guys.
Right. Let me say this about New York City. Most of us on this line, we all grew up here in New York City. We went through the crack era. As it was bad in the crack era. It was, and it's just as bad now because some places in New York City are not being cleaned up and won't be cleaned up. And we have, I just got to put this on the police. The police don't care. A lot of the whole system, a lot of things are swept under the rug. There's a lot of things done wrong when it comes to policing. And, you got bad cops who let drugs into and let guns get through. You got bad COs who let drugs get passed into prison. They all need to be cleaned up.
And let's not
going to get cleaned. It's not going to get cleaned up if they're getting defunded. So that's just making matters worse.
Right. Not just that, guys, but sometimes
yes.
Sometimes you do have to look. sometimes you do have to look at the leadership. We got to remember, guys. Now, for me, for example, I grew up in the Bronx when it was burning. That's no urban legend that the borough was burning to the fucking ground.
For the passage.
Right. That's no urban legend. That shit really happened.
Yes,
so you went from that to Times Square being just hookers, peep shows, to all of a sudden we got Disney, we got all of this shit in New York. I'm just saying, but what I'm saying is they went from left to right and sort of made the city New York again. And now,
wait. It made what? New York again?
It became when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure some of y'all too. When y'all were a kid, going to Times Square was like, oh shit. Now
it depends. If you went on 8th Avenue, on 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue is seedy and always will be.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Man, listen, I can tell you right now, me born and grown up in Hollis, Queens, okay, back in the day when I was a teenager, and we had a certain set of us that were allowed to travel, go to the city, and what we would see was like, it was like, wow. Yo, you watching the hustlers chase these hookers. Yo, you see the derelicts. Yo, it was comedy. And then from that, hold on, from that experience, and to go back home and the next day share these stories with the guys that didn't go, they were like, wow, really?
Right.
Just the look of amazement on their faces.
but let's be honest, we were kids.
Yeah, no doubt.
I would go from the Bronx to that and come home just like you. Oh, this shit is insane.
Exactly.
But what I'm getting at,
coming from Brooklyn.
How do you go from left to right to left again? In a blink of it, sometimes, guys, you really do.
But here's the thing,
it's got to be the leadership too.
Not only just the leadership, but they lie because certain things have not changed. East New York still has bad parts of it.
Right.
South Jamaica, Queens still has bad parts of it. Mm-hmm. The South Bronx still is the South Bronx.
Oh yes, it is. I was just there last March. Hey, who's this guy that's winning in the Democratic Party? I assume, and he's for fighting crime.
Eric Adams.
Eric Adams.
Oh, please stop.
I'm not voting.
Before Chandler goes off. I've met Eric Adams before. We were many years ago in the 90s when he was a cop. We were supposed to interview him, and it didn't happen. And he ain't that cool a dude. But
is he gonna win?
I think he has a 50-50 chance.
He's going against Curtis Sliwa from the the Guardian Angels.
And I know Curtis. I've known Curtis since I was 10 years old. Okay, that's how long I've known him. When I say know him, I've known him since I was 10 years old. All right. He is one of the biggest POSs you could ever meet in your life. He started the Guardian Angels as a means to an end. And has parlayed that into many things.
Yes.
Between him and Eric Adams, I'd rather they elect a dog and a cat.
Wow.
And here's the thing about Eric Adams. He still at times talks like a blue member, and I mean that to separate the cops from the rest of us.
That's fine. You could do that.
I will. I won't call him the other. I won't call him the other name that I do on my Facebook page and my Twitter.
There you go.
I won't do that tonight.
That's why your ass is always getting suspended.
But
exactly.
There were a lot of bad candidates on both sides.
Yeah.
Dang?
There were.
Really?
Oh my God, that clown.
Who? Wait,
yeah.
The sister who was one of the sisters who was running,
Maya Wiley.
Yeah, it's not your time yet, and you still got
I liked her. I believe it or not, I actually liked her.
Dig
I did.
into
I'm not
her,
gonna front.
bro. Go Google her. She
Okay.
got some. She got shadows.
Well,
And-
Who
well,
don't?
And I just think
exactly.
right. I just think people weren't ready for what she's about just yet.
Well,
Eric,
can we go get Stacey Abrams? Can we import her and make her a native New Yorker right quick?
Right.
Yeah,
Eric Adams has segued from a cop.
Y'all did that with Hillary Clinton.
Right. Eric Adams has segued from being a cop to a professional politician. That's really not a good thing for me.
Well, he was a politician when he was a cop, man. This is the same dude that never had anything to say about police, the police brutality, nothing. Nothing. He was never anywhere to be found. But now suddenly you want to, well, I was a cop. Man, listen, man. Listen. You know what? We be here or not. I'm just saying Eric Adams was terrible. Kurt C was terrible. This is the worst group of people running for mayor in New York. Jesus. Since David Clinton.
He wasn't
And
the
Chandler,
police
here's the
commissioner,
thing.
was he?
No, he was never.
Oh, okay. All right.
He did reach a certain level. Here's the thing, Chandler. They are all better than the president, mayor, de Blasio.
That's saying a lot.
You know what? Better is relative, bruh. I mean, trash is trash. So, okay, this trash don't stink as much as that trash. Okay.
Yeah, that's a hellified statement right there.
And I think it's we spoke on R's page on Facebook today about this because he posted that. He said he couldn't believe Curtis Lewa is the Republican Party's mayoral candidate.
Exactly.
It's a 50-50 race.
Yeah, he won that part.
He won the primary.
How did I miss that? Oh,
yeah.
Well, you know, that's like Donald Trump.
See,
part two.
And I'm gonna tell you. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you something that's funny about this. You just brought up Donald Trump. I think our brother Hollop is still on the line. He shouted us out. I don't know, but I asked him because he had made a comment on my post, and I was like, "Don't you feel like this is deja vu?" Because he had predicted that Trump would win. You understand? And I'm like, "Is your foot itching? You having that familiar itch or whatever?" Because yeah. It can happen.
He ain't gonna win.
No, but people are stupid, bro. Just like we thought Trump would win.
Listen, he followed Trump's playbook. He went from one party to the other.
Yep.
Okay, he's saying all exact nonsense that these people been wanting to say. So he's saying it. Listen, this is what I kept telling people. It's a whole lot of people who like say, Trump is bad, but when they say but, you know what they're about because there is no but. There is no but. But but. See, it's the but that's going to get you. If all the people are saying but, say, well, I wouldn't vote for him, but I'm going to vote for him.
Nah, he'll never
I'm telling you. Okay.
If he was a Democrat, I might say maybe.
No, he's going to win.
No, he's going to win. He wouldn't get far running as a Democrat. That's why he went to the Republican.
Exactly.
He was formerly a Democrat.
Right.
Yep.
He won't win, guys.
Okay.
Me and R got a better chance of winning than that.
Okay.
Hey, I know I would win. I would win automatic. I could tell right now. I'd win straight off the bat.
Let's get back to the sports.
Let's get back to the sports aspect. Sorry about that, listeners.
Well, we love this.
Yeah. Sorry about that, listeners. Listen, we're going to talk about the Atlanta Hawks. They finally, well, I shouldn't say finally, but they deservedly gave Nate McMillan a 4-year deal. Yes, well deserved. Props. I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of this. I like this. I never really thought that I would actually begin to have some type of like for the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh,
I never thought that.
Like little Chico DeBarge.
Yeah. Even the Bishop when he said he had like the armpit hair on his head. I thought, but I was like, it was funny and whatnot. And of course, you called him Chico DeBarge, which was hilarious. Chico DeBarge's son. I thought that was hilarious as well. But you know what? I was watching him play, and I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it. I would have never thought I would actually say that publicly. You understand what I'm saying? And they got the right guy to coach this team. They really do. He's a great coach. I like this move. Okay, you might disagree. All right, you might. Maybe I went over the top with great coach.
No, I love Nate. I've been a fan of Nate McMillan's since he was in college. Okay, going back to him and Thor Bailey and all them boys. Okay, that's how long I've been a fan of Nate McMillan. All right, he is an amazing coach. I can't stand that clown. I can't stand Trae Young. I can't stand him. I don't like anything about him. Okay, I don't like his game. I don't like the way he looks. I don't like his lisp. I don't like the snaggletooth. I like none of it.
Wow,
he is an amazing player. He is an amazing player. He's a great player. I would trip him down the stairs every time I saw him. So I'm torn because I want Nate to be successful, but I don't want Trae Young to be successful.
Well, how's that going to work? That's not
going to work. I don't like point guards.
But Chandler, did he kick your dog or something?
I know.
No, you know what? I liked him in college. So what do you
don't like? You don't like his...
And Matt, you remember I was talking about Trae Young when he was in college. You remember that?
Yeah, we had a lot of discussions on that. What don't you like about him? His demeanor? His swag?
Listen, first of all, the word is swagger. Okay? Can we start with the swag nonsense? It's swagger. All right.
Or he's swaggy.
I'm so sick of that. Stop calling me word. You know that word. But no, it's his attitude because until Nate got there, he was ruining that team. And yes, maybe he needed the right coach and all of that, but he strikes me as a guy. He strikes me as a really selfish guy, and I didn't realize he was that selfish until he got in the league, and I started watching him play. And I watched games where he will literally just let me drop from 30 feet, and dude, you got three guys open, pass the damn ball. Okay, I know you're trying to get your name elevated and all of that, but if you're going to be a point guard, be a damn point guard. Be the point guard that you were in college. You understand what I'm saying? But he was a pass first guy. He really scored a lot of points in college. He was a pass first guy. He was a team guy. And now it's like he's turned into, or maybe he's been exposed for who he really is.
But let's not forget, Trae Young pulled the Nate Archie ball. He led the NCAA in scoring and assists.
Yeah.
Right.
But here's the funny thing, guys, when you talk about the Hawks. This is just a question. Do you think it would have been a more enjoyable finals having Atlanta and Phoenix?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not the same, but
no.
I think a lot of people would have tuned in, but
for sure.
Maybe.
I think so.
Here's the thing. You got two teams that basically did the same mold. Draft your young players, keep your young players. Let's not forget, even though the Hawks didn't draft Capella, they got him fresh off the block. So you had all these young players. You went out and spent your money wisely and mixed these seasoned veterans with them.
Right.
Go out to the West Coast. They kept their 3 picks, Booker, Bridges, Ayton. Went out and got a couple of good role players, some seasoned vets, and voila. And Atlanta and them did the same. That's why I would have liked to see them, because I would have said to myself, see, this is what I wanted the NBA to be like.
Right.
Get your homegrowns, but you got to mix and match.
Right.
And you don't have a big. That would have been great.
Right. Y'all realize this is the first finals. I forget how many years. Where it's
only happened twice.
Right. Where it's not San Antonio. It's not. It's not LeBron. It's not Steph. And another name.
Here's the crazy thing.
It's at least 10 years, isn't it?
Yeah, this is even funnier, guys. This is only the third time that there's only one player on both teams that have ever been in the finals before.
Yeah.
And he ironically happened to go to the finals last year. Jay Crowder.
Right. Jay Crowder,
Ain't that some shit? This is, again, guys, not to get off topic. This is what, I'm a Knicks fan, but I like the NBA too. This is what I've waited for. So we finally got a little bit of parity. Got these young teams mixing and matching, and they're on the come up. So for those that want to get comfortable, especially in the Eastern Conference, guys, you better start watching, because the Eastern Conference is getting better and better. So if you want to be that mid-level team, all right, you'll make it to the playoffs and you'll be out in the first round.
Right.
But if you look at how this shit is developing now, guys, let's not get it twisted. There's been plenty of teams, Minnesota, Sacramento. They've all had the same path that Phoenix had, and the Hawks. They've had more draft picks, more higher draft picks than both of those teams.
Right.
And what did they do? They never capitalized on what they had, and they remained doormats. It's sad, but it's true. I mean, this is great for the NBA, guys. Seriously. And the ratings are up. Man, this is wonderful. Except the games stay on too late, and my old ass can't watch them all. So
don't feel bad. I'm right there with you. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel bad at all. But I agree with you with what you just said, Dom. You know?
Yeah. Nate McMillan galvanized the team because they got rid of Lloyd. Indiana, you look really stupid now. Really, really, really stupid.
Yeah, well,
for letting that man go. And I'm glad. I'm supremely happy for Nate McMillan because he's got a 4-year contract. He's got a young superstar in Trae Young. He's got some up and coming players. And they're gonna be good next year, depending on what they do.
They are.
You got to see what they're gonna do.
Right, and you bring back
Collins.
most of the cast. You bring back the rest of that team, and
Collins is going to be the hard one because he's a free agent.
Right. You got to pay him.
And he wanted to leave. Let's not forget he wanted to leave. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He had problems with Trae Young in the middle of the season. And other players like Chandler said, they had problems with him. And I guess Nate is a little old school. Yo, do you want to win, boy, or do you want to lose?
Can I just make a
Go ahead, brother.
Can I make just an offbeat comment real quick in regards to the Atlanta franchise? Yo, what the hell is up with their fans? Did you see?
They always say that way.
My God, I get it, but I'm like, yo, you got motherfuckers yawning on the phone. I'm like, what the hell's what's going on here? It was like dead.
You got a generation of fans that grew up without having a good team. I mean, listen, back in the day when the Hawks had Dan Roundfield and them boys and Tree Rollins and was it Kevin, what's his name, with all the muscles?
Kevin Willis.
Right.
Yeah, Kevin Willis and Dominique and all of them. You know, them fans, listen, that was a hard place to play. Them fans came out, they supported the team. But what, you talking, 30 years?
No, come on. Now when Atlanta's has some good teams.
But they never sell out though, Mac. They're a product of Atlanta. Like I said, they're in there playing with their phones, but they're there. Yeah. But they're there.
First of all, Atlanta isn't I wouldn't call it a basketball town anymore. There's a lot of New Yorkers in Atlanta.
Okay, that may be true.
People only come to their games. People only come to Atlanta games when they want to see New York, Brooklyn,
or
whatever stars come in to play them.
I'm just saying, at the same time, you got your team, excuse me, vying to get to the conference finals or whatnot. You understand? And they need a win, and they need that extra boost from the crowd or whatnot. You guys aren't even involved. You're just there.
I think the Atlanta fans are more interested in the football team than they are the basketball team.
Well, then they need to
baseball.
Well, they might not. They just might not. Just don't show up to the game then. Jesus.
I used to tell you guys all the time when the Atlanta Braves were playing the Yankees in the World Series in 1990. I've never seen a World Series game not sold out, but they couldn't sell out.
Wow.
There's just something about, I don't know if it's just football or college.
Yeah, the South is mainly a football.
Right.
Yeah, football region.
It's a college town.
Right.
State, actually, Georgia. Just like here in North Carolina. We have the Hornets, but, they're an afterthought compared to Duke, UNC,
right.
NC State. Wake Forest.
Wow.
They're an afterthought.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but hopefully, guys, this will change. This will turn the tide because now they actually have a young team that hypothetically some of these young fans can grow with. You got a solidified team. You got a solidified coach. Hopefully, you can only say hopefully, guys, that this will turn the tide for them. And the fans will come out and support them because in the past, it hasn't been that way.
Right, and they got a staple front office who made good moves this year.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember what I told you. Remember what I told you guys at the beginning of the season. The Atlanta Hawks and the New York Knicks went into this offseason with the most cap space.
Yes.
The Atlanta Hawks shot their whole load, made it to the conference finals. The Knicks walked away with $18 million in the bank and got beat in the first round by said team that spent all their money. You can't make that shit up, guys. Serious. You can't even make that up.
You know what, though? I think they struggle next year, though. I think they're going to struggle because we all know with young teams, going from the hunted to the hunter is a transition. So I think they'll make the playoffs again. I don't think they'll go as far. And people are like, oh, what happened to the Hawks? It's because now they're learning that now they have to learn how to play with expectations instead of against expectations. And that's a whole nother level. So I don't anticipate them getting as far next season. But I think they'll do well in playoffs. But next season is going to be a season.
If they bring Collins back, guys, that's the wild card. Because I think everybody else is locked in.
You know what? And I hate to say this, but I got to be honest. I wasn't really too impressed with Collins, to be honest. I'm sorry. I just didn't see it. I'm just like, okay, you know.
So can he leave off? You would let him walk and replace him with somebody else?
I probably would. I'm not gonna lie to you. Who that would be, I have no freaking idea. So don't even ask me. But at the same time, I was not impressed. I gotta keep it real.
But the thing about Collins is he's one of those guys that just does the things he does well. He's not gonna fly through the air with the greatest of ease.
No, he's not.
But
Exactly.
he does all the little things you want a guy in that position to do. And as time goes on, like we noticed this year, all right, he's not Jerry West, but he's shooting a lot better than he did 2 years ago. So his upward
that may be true. I hear you. I'm not gonna lie to you. That may be true.
And but you let a guy like that go on where he's on the incline. Might come back to haunt you.
It could, and guess what? I'm willing to roll that dice. You understand? I'm willing to roll that dice because I'm just
can't let a walking double go.
You sound like
you cannot let a walking double go.
I'm sorry. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can replace him.
He's a walking double. He is a walking double in a league where very few people like to rebound. This kid rebounds. He plays defense. Listen, he's not going to be your number 2 star. He's not going to be your number 2 star.
Right, whose body hasn't filled out yet.
Well, then maybe
you know who he reminds me of.
Hold on, Chandler. What Mark just said, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. His body hasn't filled out. Because I'm sorry. Slender. I've been watching this dude, especially this. I was like,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I gotta be honest.
Somebody look up how old he is. What is he? 23? Maybe 22, 23
24 at the most. 24 at the most.
This guy's got an upside. I don't know.
He's on the Sabonis. He's on the Sabonis incline to me. I watched DeMarcus every year. Every year he got better. John Collins every season he's gotten better. And now we looking at DeMarcus Sabonis and we're like, damn, that dude's really good. But his first couple of years, when people say he was good, people were like, well, I don't know. Now you're like, oh, okay. John Collins is going to be that guy. Where you're gonna be like, oh my God, he's averaging 25 and 12. Yep.
You know what? Well, if that's it. If that's the case,
how old is he, Mark?
You said 25. 23. If that's the case, Mr. Chandler, and if he does a 25 to 12 thing, I will be on the show and say, hey, you know what? I'm wrong. I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I just didn't see it. Okay, and listen, that's fine. But if it doesn't turn out to be, you know I'm going to be crowing like a mother freaker, right?
Yeah,
you guys, you do realize this, right?
Yeah, but I read off his numbers from last year. He averaged 17 points, down from the 21 he averaged in the bubble season.
Oh, okay.
7 rebounds, down from the 10 he averaged in the bubble season. He shot 83% free throws, 61% on twos, 39% from the 3, and 55% overall. He's solid.
Yeah. And guess what?
Okay.
Now, when you say bubble season, that was last year, right?
Year before last.
It was last year. It was the bubble season.
Or
We're
earlier
still in this
year.
season.
It was earlier this year.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Whatever.
But if I'm not mistaken, wasn't last year the year he missed a shitload of games at the end because he got suspended for them drugs?
Yes,
Yeah, he
you're right.
played 41 games.
Right. Okay.
So his numbers are going to look a little more bloated last year because he played less games.
Right.
But I maybe it's the bitter beer taste in my mouth are with some of the draft picks we have garnered as a Knicks fan. Like Collins been in the league how long? 3-4 years?
This is his 4th year.
Right. Kevin Knox has been in the league how many years?
Yeah.
About the same
Exactly.
amount.
Thank you, R.
Is he
Can we
still
really
in the
count
league?
him as in
Please.
the league?
Right. Exactly.
You look at that, and again, and maybe it's my bitter Nick draft selection shit. But you look at Collins made it to the conference finals.
Right.
Mikal Bridges is in the finals.
Right.
And these are some of the guys that we overlooked. And we got guys that still can't get out their way. If I'm not mistaken, Collins was in the same draft class as Ntilikina.
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell. Do the math on that shit. Maybe that's why I like Collins. Gee, a draft pick that made it that we missed. Oh, okay.
Right.
And who has had some progression in his career.
Yes.
Right.
As well as the team.
Okay.
Let's move.
Okay.
Y'all ready to move on?
Please, while I get sick.
Yeah, brother.
I gotta. When
Yes, sir.
When I saw that Portland signed Chauncey Billups, and then they brought up his past, I was like, "What past?" Because it was so long ago that his situation happened.
Right.
And then I read it. I was like, I forgot about that.
So did I. So did I. Exactly. You know, but the thing is, there were no criminal charges brought with it. No, there was not.
Right.
Him and some other.
Well, he settled.
Right. When he was on the Boston Celtics, I think Ron Mercer, Antoine Walker, and another player, I think, or maybe somebody's friend, they got a situation happened at Antoine Walker's house where a woman said she was raped by all those guys. And I don't remember it being that bad for Chauncey in this case.
You know why,
y'all?
You know why, Mark? You started out with this very great
because
that you forgot about all of this. But you ain't the only one that had forgot. How many teams has he played for since the Celtics? Well, how many networks has he been on? Now how long was he an assistant coach? So you ain't the only one that forgot, Mark.
Right. Is that a bad thing on all of us?
No,
forgetting?
Not at all.
Or is that a testament to him
fighting,
realizing that maybe he made a mistake being caught up in that situation? And I'm not absolving him or lawyering for him.
Right. But again, Mark,
staying clean and being a solid citizen.
Right. But again, now you look at all of these hashtags, you know, like the Me Too. No, please, anybody out there listening, I have nothing against the Me Too folks.
I do.
But thank you, R. Sounds better coming from you. Because you know how I feel about that shit. But anyway, now all of a sudden there's more light on all of this, even if it happened 100 years ago. Now everybody wants to make a name. You know, I remember when. No, you don't. You read some shit, heard some shit that happened in 1997, and you was probably 6 years old. But because you got a smartphone and could type a hashtag, you want to look. I'm saying, Mark, you forgot. I forgot. Mark forgot. I mean,
it's okay to be a rapist as long as you only did it 20 years ago.
No,
see, that's what I'm hearing.
We're not saying that.
But that's what I'm hearing. Because every time somebody wants to the Me Too and this and that, so it's okay if somebody did something terrible as long as they did it a long time ago. They don't never have to pay any consequences for it.
No,
Chandler.
First and foremost, he was never charged or convicted of anything.
Right.
He settled, which means he did it.
Okay, but that you can't say that. You can't say that in legal terms.
Right.
Yes, I can.
You know that.
Yes, I can.
He settled. It went away, but he was never convicted of nothing. Matter of fact, he never even went to court for none of this. He settled. He just settled probably
because back then back then, if a woman accused someone of any sort of importance of something, nobody was going to believe them anyway. They were going to re-victimize them at trial. So it was much easier for them to move on with their life and just settle and move on.
Wait a minute.
That we all understand how it was back then. We all understand.
Dude, let me hold on for a second. Let me get politically incorrect right now. All right. Hold on to hats for this one. Because I don't know the full details. I don't remember all this stuff. But let me ask you a question. So let me see. It was 4 Boston Celtic players, including Billups. And how many women? 1?
No, was few people there.
Okay. I need to know the exact numbers. You understand? I need to know the exact numbers.
I'm not sure, but
I'm so sick of this crap. I'm sorry. And trust me, when I say this, I'm like, listen, I'm not a fan of rape and stuff like that, but there's times where you place yourself in predicaments. You understand?
So let me ask Chandler this: Are you saying that Chauncey is a rapist?
Yes, I am.
Well, here's the flip side of this, guys. Again, Chauncey might have took the easy route out. Maybe he didn't do nothing. He saw something. Whatever the case may be, guys. One thing, he was never charged. But fast forward, wasn't it just a year or two ago somebody tried to pull that shit on Derrick Rose, but Derrick Rose didn't settle. He didn't settle.
Exactly.
He said, I didn't do this. We're going to full Monty.
Right.
We're talking 1990. We're talking 1997, guys. What was Chauncey young, naive, didn't want to dime on some of the people that was there? Because if it goes to court, now you put your hand on that Bible and raise your hand. You must tell the truth. But again, guys, we could spin it any way we want. I'm not defending whatever happened because I don't know. I wasn't there. All I know is he was never charged. He was never convicted. But the funny thing is, guys, we're talking 97. I think he played for 4 or 5 teams after that. Never brought up. Went to work for ESPN. Never brought up. Went to the Clippers as an assistant coach. Never brought up. Was top billing to get a GM job last year. Never brought up. Now all of a sudden, again, with these social drives and these hashtags, and again, some of the people hashtagging Chauncey Billups probably weren't even alive back then.
That shit is so fucking annoying.
But it also depends on the franchise you go to. The franchise he went to is one that was going to be brought up. Had he went to, say, a New York Knicks, it wouldn't have got brought up. Had he gone to a couple of different, but going to Portland, when the Trailblazers are the only thing in town, that was going to get brought up. Okay, and the fact that, and here's the bottom line. If they had just addressed it, right, it would have went away in 5 minutes. How they handled it is what kept it going. Because instead of just addressing it, because he wanted to say something about it, he wanted to speak on how he shaped, because he has said in the past, that incident shaped me, it taught me a lot of things. Okay, what did it teach you? How did it shape you? They wouldn't allow him to address it. If you don't want to talk, if you're not going to let this guy who's going to be the coach of your team talk about this, right, and it's being brought up, then it looks like you're trying to hide something. So now it's going to keep going. This was mishandled from jump.
But they did it in a way, Chandler, because again, somebody do the math real fast. 1997, that had to be 24 years ago. You think Chauncey Billups hasn't addressed this before? You think he didn't address it when he went to Portland? You think he went to 7 teams, guys? Somebody got to research that, because Portland answered the question to me, guys, correctly. We're not taking those questions. We already spoke on that.
Right, I was going to mention that happened at his opening press conference.
Right, we already addressed this, so we're not taking questions, because guess
what?
How
did they address
the questions?
How did they address it, Don? Because
I don't know.
How did they address it?
Let me speak. During his opening press conference and being announced as the head coach of the Trailblazers, they did the yada yada yada, and then a reporter brought up the case, and before he could really say anything, somebody from Portland interrupted and said, "We're not here to talk about that.
We already addressed it."
What Don just said. We already addressed that. Let's move on.
And my question is, when did they address it? Because they never addressed it, and that's the whole point. They never
had to
addressed
address it. I'm gonna look that up. They had, because guess what? We heard about this prior to Portland even hiring them. So somewhere along the line, they addressed it with somebody. They wouldn't just give a blanket statement like that, knowing.
Of course they would. A lot of organizations do that all the time. What are you talking about? They do that all the time.
But they saw this coming, Chandler. We heard about this as soon as you heard about him possibly getting this job. Then it all of a sudden came out.
Man,
the organization never made a statement on the record about it. That's the bottom line. Never made a statement on the record about it.
I'll check on that when we hang up.
Listen, let me tell you something. I used to work security at Radio City Music Hall. I was there at those NBA drafts and whatnot. These women are scandalous. Let's keep it a motherfucking buck. I have seen stuff, okay, looking for a come up. So spare me the sympathy for no, absolutely not.
But
what
again,
happened? What?
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. No, it's all good.
It's how we pick and choose. You know, the biggest scandalous, women chasing, all that shit. Nobody hears about him no more. But we're gonna talk about Chauncey Billups. Bill Clinton.
Nobody hears about.
We don't hear about that no more. Bill Clinton. We want to bring up Chauncey Billups. You know, come on now. Really?
We're not talking about chasing. You know what?
We're not talking about chasing. We're talking about Chandler, we're talking about accusations, charges, all that shit against this individual that went under the rug. But we want to talk about Chauncey Billups. Really?
Well, then he shouldn't have settled. If he didn't do it, he shouldn't have settled. At the end of the day, just like hold on. Just like they keep bringing up what Jason Kidd did, Jason Kidd should never be able to live that down. I don't give a damn how well he can coach a basketball team. Okay? I don't give a damn about that. He should never be able to live that down. Ever.
Well, that's like saying that nobody deserves a second chance.
All I'm saying is, I'm sorry. Again, I go back to the NBA draft at Radio City Music Hall for multiple years. You should see. Just it's crazy. You know, you want to be scantily clad and all that stuff, looking for the come up and whatnot. And let's not act like there haven't been stories about people and sorry to say this, ladies, but there have been ladies that have been known to make up stories.
Yeah. I think
let's address that.
Walker beat another case.
Let's address that.
But if you keep having cases, there's a problem.
Well, okay, if I agree with that. If you keep, exactly. It's like if people call you a crackhead, and multiple times. Well, yeah, you're pretty much a crackhead. I'm just saying, But I'm just saying.
There's a slippery slope to that.
It is a very slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope.
Now you become a mark. And again, we had this conversation a long time ago, guys. I forgot who it was about. But if you keep up with these false accusations, the people that really suffered are going to continue to suffer because they're never going to get justice.
There's no doubt.
They're never going to get justice.
Right. There's no question. So the follow-up question is: Damian Lillard happy because he hasn't really said anything to the media. He hasn't really said anything via social media.
Why? First of all, why is he? Listen, he was part of this process. Don't get it twisted for a minute. He was part of this process.
Right.
He was part of this process.
He also said on Twitter that he did not know what, because he got asked on Twitter. Damian Lillard responds on Twitter. If you come to him and tweeted him, he will respond to you if it's a legitimate question and you're not being an asshole. Okay. Right. He got asked about that on Twitter. His response to the person was, I didn't know about it when I made the statement I made about, he said, I got asked a question and they gave me names of coaches, and the two, and unfortunately for him, the two names that he chose are two dudes with a history, with a bad history. Okay, y'all can take it how you think of your history, however you want to think about it. But the two names he picked out were two names with history. So he got asked by some fans on Twitter, "Well, dude, that's not a good look. What's going on?" He said, "I didn't know what happened with Chauncey. The only reason I mentioned his name was because of the names that were mentioned. Those were the two names that I knew." Okay, and that's the last thing he said about it. What he said was, and if you read between the lines of what he said, basically he said, "I didn't know," which says to me that if he had known, he probably would not have mentioned Chauncey's name.
Okay.
Maybe. Do you do y'all think there's now a rift between him and management, and he possibly wants out of Portland? Because everybody, it seems like every year that Portland doesn't go far enough in the playoffs, everybody says Damian Lillard wants to leave, and he responds, "I never said that.
Exactly.
I want to be a Blazer for life."
I don't think he goes anywhere. I'm gonna take him at his word.
Nope. Yep, he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere.
I'm gonna take him at his word.
This to do with the date. Look at the college he went to when he could have went to bigger college. Just look at him as a human being, what he's done, how he gets down. You know how people from Oakland are. People from Oakland are loyal. They loyal to the death. They ride that damn thing till the wheels fall off. All right. He from Oakland.
Right.
He ain't going nowhere.
Right.
He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. That's my thing. So Knicks fans, stop.
Oh God, please
stop with the Damian Lillard dreams. It's not happening.
Yeah.
You know, start with the dreams. Period, man.
Right. Take away the Knicks, guys. Is it going to become a sooner or later? I don't care how loyal you are. If you're loyal to the core, but that loyalty isn't reciprocal, sooner or later you start scratching your head because the clock is ticking. You know, your clock is ticking, and you're gonna be stuck in obscurity. And is Chauncey Billups going to make that much of a difference? Time will tell. But that loyalty, but he's never coached before.
Like I said, rookie coach.
Right, that loyalty thing. There comes a time, guys, where, hey, I've been loyal. How long has Lillard been on Portland?
10 years. He's
10
30.
years. Yeah, when does that loyalty become, what have you done for me lately?
Well, I think it comes down to, you guys don't know, I know you guys don't really follow hockey, but it comes down to me to the Cam Neely thing with Boston when they went to him and said, listen, we're not winning. You're getting towards the end of your career. Where do you want to go? We're going to send you somewhere that has a shot at a championship. There was another player from Boston that wound up in with the Avalanche. Won the Stanley Cup. I think if Damian leaves, it's going to be a thing where the organization goes to him and says, listen, you have never asked to go. You done stuck with us through thick and thin. Look, man, we ain't got no shot. So here's the thing. If you want to go, we will send you to the team you want to go to. We will make it work how we have to and get you there, but you will always be a Blazer. And the fans will be on board with that as well, I think, because it won't be him asking to leave. It'll be the organization doing him the right way. Yes, exactly. I think that's the only way Damian ever leaves Portland.
Chandler, I agree with that. I can see that. I can actually see that. Yeah.
Right. I just want to address what our brother Jay said in the chat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
His first response was speaking from, in this regards to Chauncey, speaking from experience, people settle for various reasons, and if he settled, then he cannot speak on it.
Right.
Which is true.
Right.
Right.
But as far as Lillard, I understand what y'all are saying, but does he want to be, like Chandler said, a Cam Neely that's you're at the end of your career now. Everybody don't get lucky like Chris Paul did.
Right.
Let's just keep it real. Everybody don't get that lucky where you're still somewhere near the top of your game, close to the top of your game, that you're going to go and actually contend. Those days, guys, are almost gone. Look around the league.
No doubt.
You know, these guys are forcing their way off teams, and it's the new NBA. I mean, they hog-tied. He's on his end.
But is he?
That's not new.
Is he one of those guys that defines his career by championships?
That's a subject for another day, Chandler, because I don't believe in that. I don't.
But
we don't know what's in his head. Does he at least want to compete for one?
Right. Ring chasing and forcing your way to other teams is nothing new.
I know.
Players have done it all the time. It's not the new NBA.
But it's really,
it's more prevalent now.
Yes. Because back in the day, even when the Celtics got Kevin Garnett still had to bless that. Minnesota was giving him a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Well, no, that was a coup.
But he still had to bless it, Mark. He had a no-trade clause. He could have said, like Garnett, let's go back, guys. Garnett was loyal to the cause at Minnesota.
Right. That was a coup, though. The people in Minnesota had connections to Boston.
Well, however you want to slice it, Mark, he still had a nickel in that dime. It wasn't Kevin Garnett that went to them and said, I want to go to Brooklyn.
I don't know about that, though.
That's how the story goes. He didn't go there and say, I want to go to said location. Whatever the deal was, Mark, with some backdoor, I'm your buddy type shit. Garnett still blessed it. The point is, he didn't go to the front office and say, get me out of here. You know, I'm not playing.
But you know what, though?
Ball, I'm going home.
I think that story has been embellished to make Kevin Garnett look good.
Right.
You guys know I can't stand Kevin Garnett because he's a liar, because he's not from damn Chicago. He's from South Carolina. And anybody that claims a city that they're not from, you say that's where I'm from. I don't believe a damn thing you say. Okay, because you can't even be honest about where you're from. He's not from Chicago. He's from South Carolina. Okay,
no, he claims South Carolina.
I believe that story.
Yeah, I heard him say he was from South Carolina. He's
from South Carolina. Then he moved in high school because there was a brawl in high school. He was at South Carolina, so his mom moved him to Chicago. Okay, and he went to high school in Chicago. He's not from Chicago. All right. So I believe that story has been embellished to make him look good, because you know Kevin Garnett loves that whole veneer of the great leader Kevin Garnett, and he was so tough and But when he said that nonsense to Carmelo Anthony, he was nowhere to be found when Melo was standing by the bus. All I'm saying.
There's a few people that checked him.
Right. But then again, guys, with that, we can only believe what we hear. I mean, we weren't there. How the story went, he didn't go to them. And the point, getting back to Lillard, is, again, I think Mark just said he's 30 years old, been playing ball for 10 years, been loyal to the core. And what have y'all really done? You hired Chauncey Billups. You didn't hire Tom Thibodeau. Let's just keep it real. You didn't go out and get a Thibodeau. And you're going to expect Lillard to say, all right, I'll give this another 2 years. I don't know, guys. I'm not saying he's going to dash. Don't get me wrong. But the way the NBA ball bounces nowadays, we don't know. We don't know. He could wake up tomorrow and call R and say, yo, R, can you get me to... We don't know. This is the new NBA, guys. You don't like something, contracts and laws don't mean shit no more, guys. Let's just keep it real. Fuck it. Excuse my friend. They don't care. They don't care.
Listen, he signed till 24-25.
Yeah.
He signed the Supermax.
So he'll be 34, 35 years old.
So that's 3 years.
And in 24-25, God, I wish I could play. I was a better basketball player.
He got a balloon payment.
He got a $54 million. He got a $54 million player option. I know I would opt in.
Got that right.
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
But I think that's when. But it also depends on what they do. Okay, they hired Billups, but the problem, aside from coaching, is the makeup of the roster.
Right.
I agree.
Yes.
So now, now they also changed the GM, right? Or did they keep the same GM?
I don't know.
Y'all keep talking. If I was to make a move, keep talking. If I was to make a move,
I think they got rid of the GM. I thought they got rid of the GM. I thought that they did.
Okay.
If I was to make a move,
that's where I think Lillard would get upset.
If I was to make a move, I would trade CJ McCollum.
But then where did that leave?
He's the most attractive piece on their team.
Where would that leave Lillard? Really carrying the whole load?
Yeah, well, I mean,
but Dom, they
Nurkic is trash.
But you them two little guards, they don't play good enough defense. That's why they keep getting keep getting bounced.
That's their issue, Mark.
Each year, it's either one of them.
Okay, but you also have a center who's a bum. All right, Nurkic. Ever since he came back from, I think he broke his leg or whatever it was, he has not been the same. He's making Denver look smarter and smarter every day by getting rid of him instead of Jokic. I think you got to move on from Nurkic first of all. Get you a couple, even if you got to do like a McGee and Howard type thing, get you some rim protection so that when they get by your guards, there's some semblance of defense. I would keep Enes Kanter because he's a rebounding machine for my second unit. There's some moves you could make with this team that would make major differences without spending major money. For me, the first player that has to go is Nurkic. He's the first guy that's got to go.
Is he the most attractive piece, though?
No,
would you trade for him?
They did that last year. They went out, thought they were getting a rim protector. Remember, I will bring his name up. The ultimate, I robbed your ass blind. Whiteside. Yeah, Hassan Whiteside.
No, that wasn't last year. That was the year before last. Whiteside's been gone. They got rid of Whiteside before the season started.
Okay, but I'm saying they tried.
Whiteside ain't in Portland no more. Yeah.
But remember, they got him. Nurkic got hurt, and he just became the Whiteside that Miami got sick of. It's sad to think.
Yeah, I understand
when you think of Portland, guys, and this is no knock on nobody. You have a defensive, inept team, and all you do is go out and get more scorers. Really? I mean,
well,
we had this conversation, and
they don't have a lot of. They don't have a lot of attractive pieces. If I was Dame, I would kind of be pissed because they made a trade for Norman Powell in the middle of the season, and yes, the GM is still the same GM. He's been there for a while. Norman Powell's a free agent.
Problem.
Right.
Look at their team. Enes Kanter, Covington, Carmelo, Anthony Simmons, Derrick Jones, Nasir Little. You got CJ, Harry Giles, Nurkic, CJ Ellaby. Don't know who that is. Norman Powell. Kajian Bevins. I can't even say his name. He sound like Bivens, Mike Bivens from New Edition.
I keep Powell and Kanter. I keep Powell and Kanter. Everybody else can go.
Hold on now. Rondé Hollis Jefferson, TJ Leaf, and Zach Collins. That team is dependent on Dame and CJ. I would trade CJ because if you trade Dame, y'all go into the cellar.
And just think, they went out and got Covington. They went out and got Covington and Powell because of their defense. Right. What happened? They fell into a team that was strictly offense.
Poor coaching, but what are you getting from a
I think you could get a bigger two guard, a real two guard, or re-sign Norman Powell and let him play the two guard.
Yep.
And you get you a real center.
That's a lot of ifs and ands.
So I'm asking again, who are you trading McCollum to get a center? Who are you trading McCollum to get a center?
That's the most attractive piece on their team, bro.
Trade him to the Knicks. Get Mitchell Robinson.
What I said was, first of all, the money don't match. Secondly, who are you trading CJ McCollum for that you're gonna get a center back that your entire fan base ain't gonna be outside the GM's office with pitchforks and torches?
Well, then the team stays the same.
Cleveland, Jared Allen.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he ain't on Robinson. Ain't nobody trading Jared Allen.
Yep. Somebody might take Mitchell Robinson. Of course, the numbers ain't gonna match, so you got to do some magic with the numbers. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure McCollum's carrying a hefty ass salary, so you ain't gonna be able to trade him one-on-one for no center in the NBA.
I get that, but if the Portland Trailblazers centerpiece they get back for CJ McCollum is Mitchell Robinson, if I'm the owner, before I fire you, I'm breaking your jaw if you're my general manager.
But
before I fire you, I'm breaking your jaw.
You're looking for defense. You're not looking for Mitchell Robinson to come in there and become Jack Sigma. If you're looking for defense,
you know what? Mitchell Robinson can't stay healthy. Mitchell Robinson is a walking injury.
That'll be Portland's problem, not ours.
Hold on, fellas. I love CJ McCollum. That's a good brother. That brother signed a max. He's on a 4-year, $106 million deal.
Exactly.
That's 30-something million.
So unless the Knicks is giving you R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, what's his face?
Ain't in this
Jesus Christ, I just forgot his name. Randall. Basically, the Knicks gonna have to give you their entire roster to make the money match. Come on, son. There ain't no real. The only
they
trade
can give up Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, R.J. Barrett. Throw in a
That's
couple of draft
I wouldn't
picks.
do that for C.J. McCollum.
I would.
First of all,
I would.
No.
Because guess what? I know y'all brought it up, but I'm getting sick of seeing Mitchell Robinson on the bench. Let him go to Portland and do that shit. If they want to do it, shit.
But Don,
I'm sick of that shit.
Don, if you are Portland and you got the phone call and they said, "Hey, we heard y'all looking to trade C.J. McCollum. Would you take Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox?" I'm hanging the phone up on you.
R.J. Barrett.
Exactly.
A couple of draft picks.
I still hang the phone. I hang the phone
Hey,
up
you know what I would do if I was the Knicks? I would show all those fancy videos that Mitchell Robinson produces, shooting from the outside. And
notice he stopped that crap.
This is the real Mitchell Robinson. We just kind of held him back.
Right.
Yeah.
Notice since Tibbs stepped in the room, he stopped that crap.
Simmons.
He never did it. He just was doing it in videos.
Yeah.
You know, it was
when's the last time you saw one of those videos?
Yeah, it was like watching.
When was the last time we seen Mitchell Robinson play?
Yeah, well, never mind shoot a 6-foot jumper. But you see that all the time. Like back in the day, you'd see Carmelo with his hoodie looking like Hulk Hogan during the season. He looked like the Michelin Man. I mean, I don't believe none of those videos. But I would feed that shit to Portland. Maybe because I'm a Knicks fan and I want to get rid of him.
And you said, and Dom, listen.
I'm just reaching.
Okay.
I love you. Hold on. I love you, brother, but you sounding like one of them dudes. One of them people that we talk about.
Yeah.
No, I'm just reaching. I'm just reaching, Mark, because I don't want him. I don't
what
want
about
Kevin
Simmons?
Knox. Get rid of all of them. Get rid of them clowns.
What about Simmons?
Ben Simmons?
What if Portland? What now? Here's the thing. Now you talking about defense, right? We know Ben Simmons can play defense. Okay, he doesn't shoot, but we know he can play defense. We know he can rebound. We know he has a game in the post. Okay, you could play inside out with him and Dame, and then you could then go out and get you say right. You can get you a Dwight Howard as your rim protector. You keep Norman Powell. You keep Cantor for your second unit rebounding, and not for nothing. Enes Kanter can offensive rebound like nobody's business. He can score in the post. You could remake this team. I mean, that's the only player I would trade C.J. McCollum for. And I'm is Ben Simmons. I don't see anybody else that you would trade him for.
And I tell you what, Simmons' contract, it ain't McCollum's contract, but it's up there.
About the same. It's about the same.
He makes slightly more than CJ. But.
See, so that number would match. So now you don't got to worry about 100 different pieces.
What?
But it's funny y'all bring up Philadelphia because y'all haven't brought up Doc Rivers all night. But I'll let that go for another night.
But fellas, did y'all hear the numbers for CJ? $106 million.
Yeah, that's $30+ million a year.
Yeah,
on a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
And trust me, I'm a fan of CJ McCollum, but he's not a superstar.
He's a shooter.
In Portland, he is.
No, he is.
Yeah.
He's not a
shooter.
He's not a superstar though.
Honestly, he shouldn't even be in Portland, a superstar.
No, if he was somewhere else, like what difference would we say with let's say a McCollum and a Beal? You know, they're both getting $30-something million just because they can shoot.
Beal's a startup,
and not superstars except for the franchise that they play for.
Right, and I'm saying they do the same thing. They're basically out there to shoot. Yeah, but they're doing the same thing, Mark. They're just out there to shoot.
No, I agree with you.
You know, so I ain't gonna knock McCollum's hustle, and
no, I'm not.
You know, unless they do a McCollum for Beal, that wouldn't make sense. But hey,
I'm just astounded at how much he's making, and there's no disrespect to him because I follow him on Twitter and I've had some.
I'm not shocked by that. Why are you shocked by that?
Not nowadays.
Why are you shocked by that?
Because he's a really good role player and he's a starter. He's not a star.
But
I'm not shocked by the price, the price tag he's costing. Because
we remember, guys.
No, you know what? I'm not shocked. It's the numbers, yo. Basketball numbers. Their salaries
basketball
are crazy.
Numbers. You're right. They are crazy. But talk to Harrison Barnes about that.
Right. And I was getting ready to bring that up.
Listen,
you know, we're right at the end of that frenzy where Batum, Harrison Barnes, and all of them guys got them. Timothy Mozgov. Remember that year? These guys got these astronomical contracts.
Exactly.
We're right at the end of that cusp now.
Right.
Because Batum's contract went off last year. He was one of the last remaining overpaid players, him and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. But that's almost gone now.
God bless him. And God bless Chandler Parsons for getting the bag.
I forgot about him.
Before he got hurt.
Hold on, man. Let me get this straight. You're gonna tell me Bradley Beal's a superstar, but CJ McCollum isn't, and Bradley Beal is actually just as bad defensively as CJ McCollum. He's not a better shooter than CJ McCollum. So
question to you. Has CJ ever led the team in scoring? Has he ever led the league in scoring? Has he been close to leading the league in scoring? Has he been to an All-Star game?
Well, that's like saying
he should have been to an All-Star game.
Right. That's like saying has Beal ever got out the first round? Or has he ever made it to the playoffs?
That's not on Beal. That's on him, his whole team.
Okay, so
them two as a player, though they are two different players on two different teams.
Whoa. Because you know what? John Wall got nothing but slander in DC. Okay, got nothing but slander, even though he led that team out of the first round when he was there. Bradley Beal, since Bradley Beal has been the man, okay, that team has been trash, but you want to keep telling me Bradley Beal's a superstar.
They're both stars.
Think of this, Mark. If you took Bradley
regardless
Beal
of how you feel about
it. If you put Bradley
CJ
Beal
McCollum is not a star.
But if you take Bradley Beal and put him on a team with Damian Lillard, he ain't averaging 33 points a night. But if you take McCollum and put him on the Wizards, he's going to average 30 points a night.
No, he wouldn't.
There ain't nobody else.
Yes, he would.
No, he would.
Yes, he would.
Let's go to the next subject. No.
All right.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
You're just a hater.
How am I a hater? You the one hating on Bradley Beal.
I just think they're the same guy.
That's hilarious. Somebody crying or whatnot over here. All right. Anyway.
Trust me, it's all love between me and the brothers. We have differing opinions.
Oh man, I'm up here actually literally crying. This is just hilarious. All right, this is it. The New York Knicks and speculation on moves they can make in the point guard free agent market. Oh boy,
and trades as well, because and trades as well, because the New York media and New York fans, but we already talked about Dame Lilliard and how that will never happen.
Right.
That one's done.
Yeah, that one's done.
I got a list for y'all.
I think okay. Go ahead. Hopefully, you got the guy I was about to say on the list. But go ahead.
Who? Spencer Dinwiddie? Because
no,
he's the first one up.
Really?
Should the Knicks try to get him?
No. Hell no.
No.
I don't think.
Why not?
Because he's a moron. Number one, he thinks he's better than he is. Number two, he can't shut up. Number three, and he's already said that if he don't go back to Brooklyn, he wants to go to the West Coast.
And the Knicks have their
so they would have to overpay.
He opted out, right?
They would have to overpay him.
Yeah.
He opted out.
Mm-hmm.
What's his market?
Point guard.
What's his market, fellas?
Oh shit.
20 million?
No.
2025. Yeah, he's gonna get that.
Yeah, I'd say about
it's sort of a weak market for point. Mm-hmm. Well, not a weak market, but it's a market where he is at the upper tier. 20 million?
Yeah.
Well, he's coming off a severe injury, so you got to take that into account too. But me personally, the Nets would be crazy to let him go.
Yeah,
right.
The Nets would be crazy to let him go.
But he opted out, Reggie. So, and they on the hook. They have to sign him. But here's the thing, Reggie. They have to give extensions to Kyrie, KD, and Harden.
Man, listen, I'll show Kyrie the door as quick as I can.
Amen to that. Amen. And I'm a fan of Brooklyn. Amen.
For real.
Tell you, I think what's the name is going to come out on top for the point guard. Schroeder.
Really?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, he is. Watch.
No.
Oh, hell no.
But continue. He's another name who's been in that discussion.
He has been.
I've advocated for him before, but I've come to realize that Dennis Schroeder is that guy. He's that guy that in a contract year, he plays very well. This year, contract year, he did not play very well, and he's not. I don't know if he's not a starting point guard.
No,
he's not. Okay, no, he's not.
I bet you he garners the most money of all the point guards this free agency.
When are you gonna stop playing? Max 6'11". When are you gonna stop playing around and get to the name of the guy that I want here? Believe it or not, it's gonna shock the hell out of you.
Say it, R. Say it,
It's gonna shock the hell out of you. Lonzo Ball.
No,
I wouldn't be mad at that.
I'm in agreement with you, R. I'm in agreement with you, R.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
It's a hard pass.
That should be a good move.
That's
great. He's a pass first point guard. His shot has gotten better. But what we need is a point guard who can do a pick and roll. Number one, he can run a pick and roll. He can run an offense. He can pass. He's a very good passer. I don't see the downside to him, and his game has improved. Now he's never going to be what they claimed he would be, but he can be a star. He's going to be somebody starting point guard for 10 years, and they're going to be successful because you don't need him to be a Damian Lillard. You don't need him to be those guys. You just need him to be who he is, okay, and get a couple of shooters.
Here we go. Let's hit a rebuttal, Mark.
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
It's a hard pass for me. Yes, good passer, good defender, good point guard. He runs ice cold to lukewarm. We already have somebody who does similar when they shoot. And that's RJ. Hold on, let me finish. And that's RJ Barrett. So I wouldn't have both of them. No, we need a point guard that can shoot better.
I strongly disagree. I think I just disagree. And you're talking to a guy that wasn't really a fan of his. So if I'm stepping to the podium and bigging him up, that's gotta speak volumes.
That's why you ain't got your camera on, or you wearing your big baller hat. I swear, guys, if I had a chance to get any of them, I would go for Schroeder. He's a good defensive player. He's a good point guard. Look at his numbers every. Look at his numbers every year.
Good shooter. He's average.
Look at his numbers. I look at Lonzo Ball as a smaller version of Ben Simmons.
You know what?
He's a better.
Yeah, he's a little bit better. Yes, he is. He's a little bit better shooter.
The only thing Lonzo does that Ben Simmons don't do is try to shoot the ball. He ain't no damn shooter, guys. Come on.
Nobody's saying he has to be like Dame Lillard. You know what I'm saying?
No, but this is the NBA. Right. Or you need a point guard that could shoot. This is the NBA. This is
but here's the thing. His shot is improving though.
Yeah, but not on the Knicks.
Is it an ugly form? Yes, it is. I understand it.
Who the Knicks going to get to be their shooter?
Okay, first of all, what they could do now, if you truly wanted to do the Spencer Dinwiddie thing, you move RJ Barrett and then you sign Spencer Dinwiddie, which you're going to have to overpay for him. But there's going to be shooters on the market that are available. I mean, real shooters are going to be available on the market. There's some
Why would I trade RJ Barrett?
This isn't a good free agent year, guys.
He don't look good. He don't look good, bro.
No,
he don't look good at all.
This ain't a good free agent year.
It's not true.
He don't look good at all.
First and foremost.
But you don't need a star. You don't need a star, Dom. Joe Harris ain't no star. You need a guy like Joe Harris. Okay, there's gonna be a Joe Harris on the market.
I got to look. I'm telling you guys, it's not a big free agent market. Next year is going to be the bigger market than this year.
Right. Like I said, with Lonzo Ball, and you got him playing next to RJ Barrett, they both are not really good shooters. So
that's trouble.
But you move Barrett. You move Barrett.
Yeah, but where are you?
Why would you do that?
Well, you know why I want RJ Barrett moved. Really, you asking me that? Seriously?
And Chandler, why you want to move?
Because he can't stand his father. He don't like Canada.
Because I hate him. Because I hate his father. I hate his father.
Boy, the hate this guy spills.
Now, RJ Barrett did improve from the 3 line.
Yeah,
and what I like about him is that
only in Indiana.
Right. Thank you.
Listen, he shot 39% from the 3.
Yeah, it happened. We're in Indiana.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So trade him to
Listen,
Indiana.
RJ
But
Barrett
again,
can be moved.
I can't have both of them.
No.
And the Knicks aren't going to trade RJ Barrett. They
So
trade RJ Barrett for who's that kid the Nets traded that went to Indiana? That had
Karis
the
LeVert.
thing.
Karis.
Yeah, I would trade him for LeVert.
I would do that. But is Indiana going to do that? I got another name.
Not if they smart. Not if they smart.
Well, we already know they not.
Yes,
I got a name for y'all.
What's the name?
And it's a no for me, just because I like Jalen Brunson, but no, he's not a starter.
No,
Jalen Brunson.
No, I'll pass.
Backup point guard.
That's interesting.
I agree.
But if you have a combination of Jalen Brunson and Derrick Rose,
it's all right. But Jalen Brunson is not a starter, so Derrick Rose is up in age.
No.
Hell
no.
He ain't a point guard. One.
Yeah. And I like Oladipo.
No, wait.
I like him too.
Hear me out. You go get Oladipo and Ball, right? Then you can move Barrett if you want. Or you can have Barrett and Derrick Rose as your second unit.
Oladipo isn't a great 3-point shooter, and he's always injured. Hell no.
Yeah, he ain't been injured. He ain't been injury free in like 3 years. On 3 different teams.
I know.
Damn. Good Lord. Can't even blame the atmosphere. He done got hurt.
And I like Oladipo. I just don't want him on my team.
I don't like him.
He's a hell of a singer.
Like him.
He can sing his ass off.
I don't like him. I'm sorry.
No.
You don't like him at all?
No.
At all.
Me either. Sorry.
At all. No. I don't like him.
Like I said, this guy's been hurt in 3 different cities, man. He can't blame the atmosphere, the altitude. He's been hurt in 3 different cities in 3 years.
Hey, maybe he needs to go on Instagram, find him a model, and get massages.
No, he needs to go to Phoenix, where they have that special water or some shit that people just reinvent themselves.
Well, Phoenix has a really good.
Hold on.
Good name.
Reggie said Cameron Payne.
He's on the list.
That wasn't me. I ain't gonna claim that one. That was Chandler that said that.
Chandler, I'm sorry.
That was
Chandler. He's on the list I have, and yeah, but how much are you paying him?
10 million.
15.
He's going to get more than 10. Don.
I don't think so.
I'll give him 15.
Yes,
I'll give him 15 over 4 years right now. Oh, and the other name, I don't know if you're gonna bring him up. Although since he couldn't handle Miami, maybe he wouldn't handle New York. It's Tyler Hero.
He ain't a point guard though.
No.
But he can shoot.
And I like Hero.
He can.
Don't get me
You're
wrong.
right.
He can shoot.
I like him too.
Yeah.
What about Colin Sexton?
No.
I love
Yes.
Colin Sexton.
No,
he got too many.
I kind of like his game.
Well, then again, if he played for Thibodeau, he might get his head out his ass. I'll tell you what might be a steal, guys, because they're not going nowhere, and they have a point guard in the making, De'Aaron Fox.
He's not on the market, but
Yeah,
I like that.
Nowadays.
I like that.
Yeah, they might because he has a big contract. They know they're not going nowhere. The Knicks could throw some picks at him. Halliburton becomes their starting point guard. They go that name again. Halliburton could have been our point guard, but that's water under the bridge. So now you steal their point guard for the point guard they stole from us.
Right.
They're going to have to get rid of him.
Yeah,
they're not going nowhere.
That might work.
They're back in the rebuilding mode. And Halliburton's a good point guard.
Luke Walton is still the coach. They ain't going that goddamn.
But Halliburton's a good point guard. So they got something to fall back on if they can move Fox. They save the money. They get some picks.
Yeah, but I think.
Does Fox play defense though?
Man, 95% of the NBA don't play defense.
Sacramento.
No. We're talking about Thibodeau.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna throw something crazy at y'all.
The kid. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna throw something crazy at y'all. You're gonna probably pan me from left to right, up and down. D'Angelo Russell.
I like him.
You know what? That's not bad. Actually,
that's not a bad idea.
But
that's actually not bad.
He's under contract, right? and he's making hefty money.
Yeah, but they got
Look
Anthony
him up.
Edwards.
Look him up, Mark.
Yeah, but
He
they
had
got
that
Edwards.
contract for a
They
couple
got
of years.
Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and you know Anthony Edwards. They want him to handle the ball. That's actually not a bad idea. D'Angelo Russell. Listen, that kid can shoot, and we've seen him when he was on a good team with a good coach. We saw he actually looked good.
Right.
I'm
and
telling
he can
you,
play off the ball.
the Knicks,
Yes.
the Knicks got to go out and get shooters because they have their point guard.
Oh my Lord!
The Knicks have their point guard now, guys. You just haven't heard of him yet.
Yo, D'Angelo Russell's average salary is $29 million, and he's under a 4-year.
When's it end?
$117 million. He'll be a free agent in 2023.
Okay. 2 years.
2 years,
That's
right?
not bad, but I'm telling you guys,
I don't think Minnesota's traded him. He had an injury, didn't he?
So yeah, that's not bad.
Was he with Minnesota or was he with Golden State?
He's with
Minnesota.
Or did we just not hear about him?
He's on Minnesota.
He's in Minnesota.
Knicks got to get a shooter.
Okay.
This Luka kid.
I looked bringing him up.
Oh,
the
Argentinian.
I looked at some video of him.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. It looks cool from what I saw, but until he gets under the big lights in New York City in the Garden and deal with the New York press, the New York fans, and deal with Thibodeau as a coach who stresses defense.
Right.
I didn't see any defensive plays. I saw him shooting and passing.
He was the MVP of that league, and you do know he's under contract. 2.5 mil. He's under contract.
But they signed it in a way they can get out from under his contract.
He's under contract. Why not? I mean, from what I hear and what I see, and he's a point guard, and he got a good little shot.
No, he's more of a shooter.
Yeah, if Jeremy Lin could do it, he could do it. Fuck it, bring that boy up.
So I like the D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah,
I like the D'Angelo Russell the more I think about
D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah,
he's always been. Get him and Rubio.
I got another name that y'all probably gonna say no. Kyle Lowry on a 2-year deal with a team option.
Next.
Keep it pushing.
I'm in agreement with you. I like Kyle Lowry, but it's his age.
Say that again, Reggie.
Keep it pushing.
Thank you.
Keep it pushing. Exactly.
Next.
Here's another
my
one.
age.
The place I got these names from, they suggested to look for Ben Simmons' trade market value and let it make a run.
Okay.
What do you think about Ben Simmons in the Garden?
No.
We need shooting. We don't need a guy that don't want to shoot.
I agree with you.
I can see if he at least.
So let's bring in Ben Simmons so he can get booed in New York and Philadelphia because that's going to help.
Yeah.
let me ask a question. I'm getting back to the Lonzo Ball situation.
Right.
You want the ball in his hand or you want the ball in Randall's hand?
Well, the Knicks.
I wanted Alonzo's hands.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. They run a motion offense, so the ball wouldn't be in Lonzo's hands. It's in Randall's hands. That's Thibodeau's offense. That's the way he runs his offense. Maybe it would change if they had ball, but I saw him play in New Orleans off the ball, and it did not look good. And mind you, I know it was Stan Van Gundy.
Right. But to Reggie's point,
here's the thing: ball doesn't look good when he's not holding the ball, and he sort of drifts to the corner, and he doesn't make corner threes very well, and he just looks. So
we got to get the ball. We got to get the ball out of Randall's hand.
Right.
I don't care what motion. I don't care what motion offense.
Right.
I know you are, Ray. That's what you got to get the ball out of his hands. I don't care what offense you're running. He's a dynamic player, but he can't have the ball in his hands. First of all, he had the ball in his hand, and we had no perimeter shooting. So them 6 or 7 assists he was getting tonight, he was getting them shits by luck. Somebody just happened to hit a damn shot when he was quadruple teamed, and they hit an open shot.
Well,
the object is to get the ball out his hands, not run no motion shit through him. No.
Right.
But But
Go
don't
ahead. Yes, sir.
if they're taking if they're taking open shots, right? You tend to make open shots more than shots that are being heavily defensed, right?
Right.
Right. So it fit. It worked. You were giving off. You can go back to old shows where you were giving off Randall's stats every night.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
I have no problem with him.
Threes. This is the problem. Everybody's in love with the three. Not everybody's a 3-point shooter.
Right.
Right. Thank you.
I understand you want to play to the strengths. Oh, he's not a good 3-point shooter. He shouldn't be shooting threes if he's not a 3-point shooter.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
I agree with you.
Take a step in. If you double team and you got enough room to step in and hit a 2-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think the 2 is a higher percentage than 3 any day of the week. If I'm adding correctly, Dom is the numbers guy.
Right. The thing is, Julius Randle on a year like he had last year, where he improved his 3-point shooting. If we had perimeter shooting, his percentage would have went up because he wouldn't have took as many. But we had no perimeter shooting. Thank God his 3-point percentage went up.
Mm-hmm.
Or we would have been a 12 seed.
Dom, he also was taking a lot of open threes.
Exactly. But he had nobody. The thing is, Mark,
threes.
he had nobody else to give it to. Who did the Knicks have that could shoot a perimeter shot? Burke?
Knicks don't have a lot of people.
Now, I like Burke. He's a Swiss Army knife. But if that's your guy, him and Bullock, who can shoot, don't get me wrong. But if those are the guys that you're going to saying they're our knockdown shooters, that's an issue. That's really an issue.
The Knicks don't have a pure shooter on their team.
No.
But you don't have a point guard either.
No.
And this is the problem I feel the Knicks have, because if you run an offense through Randall, who was a turnover machine, and he's giving the ball to guys who can't shoot or can't make a shot, what the hell is the problem? He's the one that need to be in the 2-point range trying to score.
Right.
So if you get a point guard that's, okay, listen, you're going to get the ball here, you're going to go here, you're going to get the ball, you score there. That means that's taking options away from Randall. Listen, you got to go down there and score. Right. Period.
And if that point guard Reggie's talking about can shoot, that means you got to honor him outside, which leaves less pressure on Randall down low or going to the basket.
Maybe it's the Argentinian kid.
We'll see. Because you gotta factor in, guys, and I'm not Julius Randle's defense attorney, but yes, he had a lot of turnovers, but he had a lot of turnovers because he was going to the basket with 3 guys on him. And some of them turnovers, guys, we could accredit it on the fucking guy missing the ball. RJ Barrett, for one.
But Dom,
whose decision making is lacking.
Right. But Dom, he had less turnovers than he did last year.
Exactly. He had a couple of more good players. Burke, Bullock showed up. So he had somebody to throw it out to. But I'm telling you now, the ball cannot be in RJ Barrett's hand unless he's going to shoot.
Can't be in his hand either. So
I'm just saying he
had to leave. Reggie. He gave his regards.
No, I'm saying, Reggie, when you give the ball to RJ Barrett, he got to be shooting. His decision making is less than stellar.
Thank God the bishop is not on this show.
Yeah. Whoa, Lord. Where is he at?
So, hey, don't talk about.
I should have texted his ass. He ain't doing nothing. Ain't no game on tonight.
But I get what you're saying, Mark, about Bull. But like I said, what needs to be done? Oh, sorry. I said what needs to be done. These guys need to take that video that Chris Paul is putting up and master that mid-range game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh damn, Mark.
I like Alonzo Baldwin because I think, like I said, there's going to be some guys out there on the market who can hit open jump shots. I mean, actual shooters, a Joe Harris, somebody like that. Because I think Joe Harris is coming up for a contract. Who knows?
He just signed the contract. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there's going to be. I'm saying there's going to be a Joe Harris type out there. So you can, if the Knicks go get Lonzo Ball, then that says to me that they're going to go after shooters, either in the draft or through free agency. But there's always shooters. It's a matter of you getting the right shooters on your team, and that's the one thing. That's why the Julius Randle thing. The ball has to be taken out of his hands because you don't have any shooters. You can't have him handling the ball too. You give him Lonzo Ball, now you got somebody to set him up. Okay, exactly. Which puts him in a better position to score. And Lonzo can hit an open 2. He can hit an open 3 on occasion. And the thing with the point guard for me is, I don't need him to be Dame Lillard. What I need is for him to be willing to shoot and able to make enough shots so that they have to honor him when he's open.
That ain't him.
I just don't think he's a good enough shooter to where they'll slack off on Randall and tempt him to shoot, because that will be the "can you do it" syndrome. He's not been known to shoot very well, so they're going to collapse on Randall and they're going to force him to shoot. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. By some stroke of luck, he may become a better shooter by next season. I don't know, but he's going to be tested if he goes to the Knicks, because they're going to slack off on him and they're going to tempt him to shoot that shot. Now, if you get a guy like Schroeder, you can't do that with Schroeder. You can't do that with D'Angelo Russell, because they will knock down a shot. Ain't no ifs and ands. Okay, but
Schroeder's inconsistent as all get out, bro. Inconsistent as all get out.
I think if you look at Schroeder's numbers, because I'm a numbers guy, look at his numbers, and he's gotten better every year. Now, again, did he fall into that LeBron is the hero and everybody else is the GOAT? I never thought that Schroeder fit in with the Lakers. So I got a funny feeling he's going to bounce. But I don't think that would be a bad pickup.
Okay, he's a scoring point guard. He's like,
right.
You understand? He's a scoring point guard. He's not looking to set anybody up but himself.
Right. Again, guys, look at the team he was on this year. Go back to when he was a point guard on other teams.
He's never been a point guard.
Look at his numbers.
I'm looking at his numbers in there.
Right. Somebody look at his numbers, because now he's on a team with LeBron, who has the ball in his hands 85% of the time.
He has to be a shooter with that team.
Right.
Let me just say this. He's not a good 3-point shooter. Him and Lonzo shoot about the same for his career.
How does he shoot from the field? How many points does he score? How many assists
he's a scorer. He's a scorer, and he's averaged up to 6 assists a game in one of his good seasons.
One of his good seasons. 6 assists is not going to cut it.
But again, guys, we're looking at a different NBA. You're only going to get a handful of Steph Currys who might get you 30 and 12, or a Chris Paul that's going to get you 19 and 12. Those guys are a dime a dozen now, guys. Look around the league. There's so many teams. Trae Young, he'll get you 28, and he's a good passer. Don't get me wrong.
Yes. You would pay Dennis Schroeder, who shoots for his career 33% from the 3-point line.
Well, what's the league average? 36?
35.
Okay. All right. I ain't saying pay him the bank. I'm just saying he would be a good fit for what the Knicks have right now.
He wouldn't.
I'm not saying $30 million, guys.
I don't think so.
He ain't going to get $30 million.
He wants
where he goes.
I agree that, though.
Yeah, there ain't but so many teams that need a point guard, first and foremost.
I'm going to read off every year from his 3-point line, starting from his rookie year.
Give him an assist, too.
23%, 1.9 assists. 35%, 4 assists.
Point guard.
That was on Atlanta.
Yeah. I'm keep going.
He was a backup to Teague.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
32%, 4 assists. 34%, 6 assists when he became a starter for the first time. 29%, 6 assists. 34% in OKC, 4 assists. 38% OKC, 4 assists. Last year with the Lakers, or this year with the Lakers, 33% with 5.8 assists. And he averaged he's averaged between 19 and 15 points a game since he's been a starter. I couldn't rock with him. I'm sorry. And I like him.
I'm just comparing him to
Lonzo
the free
Ball
agents
for $10
that are
million
available.
less.
I don't know. Unless the Knicks get
Okay, so
shooters
Lonzo
before
Ball
they get
will
ball,
cost you less money for the same production.
well, we're gonna have to see what he's
No,
demanding.
they about the same, Chandler.
If the Knicks
trying to get about the same.
If the Knicks did what Chandler says, but in reverse, get the shooters, then maybe I would feel a little more comfortable having a point guard that ain't that good of a shooter.
Here's the other question.
He can pass. I'll give him that.
Here's the other question. Rose is a free agent as well.
He's gonna stay with the Knicks.
Right. How much are you paying him though?
Yes.
Because he's had to take some short deals because of his injuries and other situations, him moving around a little. 12 million, 15 million.
I don't even think he's gonna demand that much.
2 years,
well,
24.
I don't even think he's gonna demand that much.
Right. Listen, he's got the big contract from the sneaker deal. So
and that's why he has to stay in the league.
Right. Right.
And he said it before, guys, that he ain't looking for the big payday no more.
He got the big payday.
Exactly.
He got a big payday from the league, and he got the big payday from the sneaker deal.
Right.
And I guess he has other endorsements.
They'd have to pry him away. Yeah, they'd have to pry him away from Thibodeau.
Yeah. 2 years, 24 million. Done.
Nah, he ain't gonna demand that much. He might get $8 million a year.
What? Nah, 12. You give him 2 years and 24.
No,
I agree with Chandler.
He knows he's gonna be a backup, guys. He ain't gonna be a
backup
starter.
Starter.
He knows he ain't gonna be a starter no more. So he'll take $8 million. Unless
if the Knicks don't bring anybody else in, they letting Peyton and Frank walk. Thank you, Jesus, Allah. Anybody else? Any other deities? Buddha. I think get them two up out of here tonight.
and bring Knox with him. Take Knox with him.
Oh, he can.
Then I'll feel comfortable.
Oh my God,
he can go tonight.
Because if you look at this year's playoffs, guys, everybody in that draft class was damn near in the playoffs and went further than we did.
And everybody's everybody's progressed.
Mm-hmm.
I saw on Twitter.
Do you think that would be a kick in the pants for him?
Maybe.
What'd you say, Reggie?
I said, do you think that would be a kick in the pants for Knox? Or
what, to be traded?
No, to either play better or whatever.
Well, we've tried that,
Reggie, he came in, he was a starter. He was okay. The next year, the coach looked and said, damn, I can't trust him to start. So his playing time got lessened. And then this year, he got even less playing time. And when he played, I didn't see any progression.
Right. Here's how I look at Knox and Ntilikina. For any one of them that say it's this, that, and the other thing, you could call it a curse, but it's a truth. They've had 3 different coaches. Yep. It can't be a coincidence that 3 different coaches, I don't care who they were, they could have been me, Reggie, and Chandler. But if 3 coaches are seeing the same thing, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, damn it, it's a duck.
And
so
Frank
cut your losses. And Frank's in the same boat. Frank's had about 4 or 5.
I was going to say, and Frank has averaged the same 5 points he averaged in France.
Exactly. And in FIBA. So knock it off with these guys.
The thing with Ntilikina,
cut your losses.
Is look,
catch him
for an opportunity. Kevin Knox is what he is. He's worked hard. He's maxed out. Okay, this is what he is. He's a guy who's going to play hard. He can't score. He can play a little defense. Okay. There's certain teams. There's a spot for him. Kevin Knox doesn't look like he works hard and has not improved.
No.
So at this point, Kevin Knox might not even be in the.
What happened to Channel? Can you hear me, Mark?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
You know what somebody brought up? Yeah, you know what somebody brought up today?
What?
Mikal Bridges is 3 years older than Kevin Knox.
Yeah,
I said he's 3 years better. I don't care what his age is. He's 3 years better than
right. Really, their ages don't really matter. It's Knox doesn't have a motor.
Right.
Offensively and defensively, he still doesn't have like a clue.
No.
And maybe the spotlight in New York is too much for him, and maybe he needs to go to someplace else and be developed.
How can the spotlight be too much if you ain't even getting off the bench?
Well, he did get to play.
Yeah, he did when he first came. To say something like a guy, I mean, damn, Mikal Bridges is probably only 24. So to say he's 3 years older than him, he's still 24 years old, but he's 3 years better than him. Remember, they came in the league at the same time. The same exact draft. Every Bridges that came in that draft is better than Knox. Mikal and Miles.
Right. But it's their ages are relative. It's about what they're doing.
Yeah. And don't forget, Mikal Bridges played for a good college team. I think they won the national championship, didn't they, at Villanova?
Yeah, that's why he stayed. He was
right. He had some grooming. And guess what? When he came into the NBA, he was ready.
Right.
You know, let's just be real. And that Miles Bridges, who I get to see a lot here in Carolina, every year he's gotten better. Now he can shoot. Before he was just a highlight film. Now he can shoot. Now he can rebound. Offensive rebound.
Their age doesn't matter. It's sort of the motor that they have, and for whatever reason, Knox just doesn't have a motor.
Nope, he doesn't.
Michael Porter Jr., who came in the NBA with a bad back, has eclipsed Kevin Knox in one season. Not two. The first season he hit the ground running, he was already better than Kevin Knox. But nobody wanted to take a flyer on him because of his back. But the Knicks took a flyer on an 18-year-old who had no NBA game. Really?
It's funny. I watched Knox. Knox has all the tools, though. He's 6'10". He can handle the ball. He can shoot from the outside. I watched him in college. He's athletic. But for whatever reason,
he's still the same player. Yeah. He's still the same player he was in college. I think with Kevin Knox, and here's the biggest indictment of Kevin Knox. The Knicks brought in every damn coach not named Calipari that coached at Kentucky. All right. Supposedly to unlock his potential. And they wound up burying him on the bench, which says to me that, you know what, this is now until he decides that he wants to get better, he won't get better. So if I'm the Knicks, either let him walk or I trade him for a second-round draft pick. I move him on. You got to move him on because
it might help. It might help him.
Right, like I said,
he might go somewhere else. And
right, like I said, the spotlight here in New York, the glare is sometimes intimidating, and maybe he needs to be in a place where the spotlight isn't on him, and they send him to a place where he can be developed.
Right. I mean,
I don't.
You got it. You look at Knox, and you look at a guy like Malik Monk, who came out of Kentucky. Now, we knew Malik Monk could shoot in college. He could shoot in the pros. He has his ups and downs, but Malik Monk could still shoot. We can't say that about Knox. We don't know what he can do because he just don't do it. If he gave an effort and he was 3 for 10 from beyond the arc, did a little bit of hustling, because as goofy as Malik Monk is, he goes out there and he plays hard, but he's out there primarily to shoot. But at least he shows an effort when he's on the court. Knox don't show no effort, man. It's like he's lost.
Right. If look at Obi Toppin.
Yep. Yeah.
Obi, actually, I saw a little progression because even Tibbs played him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And Chandler says it best. You know, he's gonna give you 100%. He's gonna run around and
right.
But he started hitting threes towards the end of the season. They started giving him the ball more instead of looking at him and saying, "No, I'm not passing you the ball because you ain't gonna do nothing with it." And in spots he played very well, and I see him they have a summer to work on some things. Next year he'll be better.
Right. You got to give Toppin credit. I think the Knicks made a mistake by getting him because, one, we passed on a point guard and we put him in a position where he was going to be playing behind somebody. But when you see Toppin do something that may be a little boneheadish, you still say you could see the effort in that boneheadedness.
Right.
Because the boneheadedness will go away sooner or later because he has raw talent. So the boneheadedness and the goofy mistakes he makes for a 20, 21-year-old, okay, we could suck that up because we could see a little something in him. You can't say that about Knox, guys. I feel like we're always picking on him, but we've seen him now, 3-4 years?
3 years.
We gave him an alibi because he was young. We gave him an alibi because of all the coaches, but we never could give him an alibi for lack of effort. He has no effort. He's like just floating around out there. Again, Toppin could be floating around out there because he may be a little confused because he's a rookie. But even floating around, you can see he's trying.
Right.
You can't say that about Knox. Knox just looks so fucking lost.
Yeah.
And then, again, maybe it's because I look at the Michael Porter Jr.'s, the two Bridges, just the guys that we passed up on. Maybe that's my real bone with him. But even
it's where he was drafted. Yeah, it's where he was drafted.
Right, but even saying that, guys, I still look at how he plays. Okay, he may not be as good as any one of the Bridges or Michael Porter Jr. Okay, I'll give him that. He's just not that good. But he don't show nothing to say, damn.
And I've seen games with Knox where he's giving effort and he's hustling. I'm like, please do that all the time. And he makes some good plays.
And then he goes back to being Kevin Knox.
Right.
He does something good, and you be like, where did Kevin Knox go? Whose jersey did they put on that kid out there?
Yeah.
Because it just looks so out of the ordinary.
Yeah, that's the problem. The biggest problem with a lot of the guys that we talking about, Knicks draft picks, is they were picked in the wrong spot.
Exactly.
They were projects. And they got drafted to a team that needed them to be finished products
or
instead
close
of projects.
Yeah, close to it.
And it's their fault, but it's not their fault. Like Ntilikina never should have been drafted where he was. Okay, if he had been drafted in the second round, I don't think he would have gotten a third of the scrutiny he's gotten because he's a second round pick. What do you expect? Kevin Knox shouldn't have been drafted where he was drafted.
No,
that's the bottom line. If Kevin Knox is drafted in the 20s, right, low 20s, okay, well, we can send him to the G League. The Knicks wouldn't even send him to the G League. So because of where he was drafted, so yes, it's on the players, but a lot of it sometimes these teams, the Knicks have drafted poorly.
Yes,
and like I said, like with Quickly should have been a first round pick. Okay, they lucked up into him. He should have been a much higher pick. They lucked up into him.
Well, they did get him in the first round, just very
right.
late.
But I meant much higher. If you look at his game, people missed on him, so the Knicks got lucky. But dude, it's Kevin Knox again. He has to go somewhere else. Maybe it's Sacramento. He has to go somewhere where people forget he's in the league. Okay, and hopefully they can unlock his game because this kid has scary talent. He is physically gifted. This kid can jump. He can run. He is physically gifted, but why it's locked away, nobody knows.
Yeah, send him to Cleveland.
Listen, I'll take Colin Sexton for him.
Maybe then I would debate on getting Sexton.
Why? What don't you like about Sexton?
He don't from what you read, him and Garland, they just don't have their heads screwed on right. They don't want to listen. They didn't even want to practice at one time this year.
Do you see what's in Cleveland? And that's
I get
Cleveland
that,
is a wasteland right now.
But you take those two guys who've been in the league a couple of years. Okay, they're on a shitty team. I get that, but it's their mentality, it's their work ethic. But now you fast forward to a rookie, a Halliburton, who went to a team that's not going nowhere, but he put the effort in.
But he had better players around him. He had better players around him.
Right, but he put the effort in.
Okay, Chandler. but it also, and again, you don't like this, but coaching matters. Right. Coaching matters.
Who's the coach in Cleveland? Tell him, Chandler.
I don't even know who the hell the coach in Cleveland is. Who is it?
But
JB Bickerstaff.
Yeah, but that
good God.
But again, even you could take any coach. It was their mind. It was their mindset of what they wanted to do.
Okay,
and that became an issue not just with the coach.
Wait, hold on.
But with other players.
No. They started out with John Beilein, who should have never been hired as an NBA coach. Okay, and then you went to this Bickerstaff clown. Now I'm gonna give you, and again we go back to Atlanta, right? We go back to Atlanta, which would not have made the playoffs had they kept Lloyd Price. That team was about to burst internally, and you brought a real coach in there, okay? And you watched the improvement of the team. Sometimes coaching, not with every team and every player, but coaching matters. Colin Sexton needed to go to an organization that knew how to develop players that had a real coach. Instead, he went to that dumpster fire that's Cleveland. You get Colin Sexton out of Cleveland, and you put him with a real coach. I guarantee you, he will be an all-star.
Right. Here's the thing, Chandler, and then you can go Dom. Garland and Sexton both play the same position. They both scoring point guards. So you got both of them. They both about 6'2". Everything else on Cleveland is bad except for Jared Allen. You know, Kevin Love is not the same Kevin Love, and the rest of the pieces, they're just bad. And you ask both those guys to be your main scorers, which they are. And then is JB Bickerstaff, and he's a bad coach.
Take everything you're saying, and I get it. I would never throw them under the bus because they have talent. they have the talent. It's just until we see them go somewhere else where we can't blame the coach. Because I always look at even the stories you read about them. They're still kids. They're still young men. Okay, they didn't like this. They didn't like that. Okay, they aired their grievances. They boycotted practice. The whole 9 yards. So, okay, we move them somewhere.
Right.
And you hope, just like I hope for Kevin Knox. As much as I don't want him to be a Knick, I don't wish bad on nobody. I would hope Kevin Knox goes somewhere and shines, and I would hope Sexton would go somewhere and get his head right. He's still young.
But Dom, if Sexton and Garland go anywhere, they're in a different situation. They'll be better off than Knox because they've proven that they can produce. Right. And even though they play on a bad team, they're still those are legit guys. Knox has proven he's not legit.
Right. We could only hope that we can't predict the future. Again,
you know who the example is? I'll give you Kevin Porter Jr. Kevin Porter Jr. Now the coach in Houston can actually coach. Kevin Porter Jr. got to Houston. Where was he before Houston, Mac? Where they basically just said, get out of here because now Kevin Porter Jr. has some issues, okay? There's some maturity issues and some other issues. Instead of the team doing what it could to help him, they basically let him flail away and then got rid of him.
I think he was with Cleveland.
Where?
He might have been with Cleveland.
No, wasn't he on the Wizards?
He was somewhere
Keep going, y'all.
Yeah, wherever he was, the team basically just cut him and like, oh, you just too much for us to deal with.
Cleveland. He was with Cleveland.
He was Cleveland, yes.
Okay. And Cleveland. I told you.
Now he got to Houston, and suddenly you saw the talent blossom. You saw that he stopped having issues with teammates and management. Because I don't like a lot of things about Houston. The one thing I will say, they got a great player development department, okay, and they understood what they needed to do for him to help him start becoming his best self. You ain't heard nothing negative about Kevin Porter Jr. since he got to the Rockets. All you heard about him in Cleveland was negative. That's the difference in franchises. That's the difference in player development. That's the difference in being with a real organization versus being with a trash organization.
You know who else fell victim to that? And I happen to like the guy. Bobby Portis. He got that bad rap from the fight. But I'll tell you what, when you see Bobby Portis on the court, he's Bobby Portis. He gives you his all. He plays hard. He's a good shooter. Take you down low. Plays defense.
Right.
But because he had that stigma for so long, now he goes to a team where, okay, their expectations might have been, but his expectations were just come in, fill your role. And I always thought the Knicks should have never gave up on him.
I was getting ready to ask you that. Do you think the Knicks should have? Is that the play you think we should have kept?
I said that when they got rid of him.
No, I don't. Some people shouldn't play at home. And Bobby Porter.
He ain't a New Yorker. Is he?
Oh, no, is it him or Taj Gibson?
We're talking
Gibson
Bobby
is from
Portis.
Brooklyn.
You're talking Taj Gibson.
Okay. Bobby Portis to me, I didn't mind the Knicks getting rid of him. Mac knows that I think that Bobby Portis is truly underachieved. Now, a lot of it has to do with where he was.
Right.
With the Chicago thing. I don't think that they maximized.
They didn't handle that well.
Right.
They didn't handle that well.
And
Washington didn't nurture him well either.
Yeah, they didn't. And now he's with an actual real organization, and we're beginning to see the player that he was coming out of college. Because this is who he was in college. Right. The guy we've seen in Milwaukee, this is the guy I thought we were going to see coming out of college.
He's a double-double, and he's a offensive threat from just about anywhere on the
right. Yep.
And I understand why the Knicks gave him up, because it was like give him a get-out-of-jail-free card. Let him go somewhere else, because the Knicks weren't going nowhere last year.
Well,
not this year, but last
Knicks
year.
were trying to the Knicks signed him to a short deal because they said, okay, let's see what he got.
Right.
And the situation with the coach plays into how Portis played on the court.
But you can't tell me that he didn't go out there and give his all, Mark. Even on
No,
Knicks.
he did. But and here's the thing. They paid him $15 million last year?
Yeah, something like that. That was when they were giving every forward $15 million.
Well, listen, they gave guys 1-year deals or a deal a year with an option. That's so they could have cap space money for this year. And I understand the business side of that.
Right.
But they should have kept Portis.
Right, because you never used the money anyway. You got rid of all his salary, and you still walked away at the end of the year with $18 million left in the bank.
Well, listen, at least they didn't give guys 3- and 4-year deals for $50 and $60 million.
Imagine this, guys. The Knicks having, some may say, an overachieving season. But if you had Bobby Portis to come in and spell Julius Randle, it may have turned out a little different. Because we wore Randle out. Let's just be honest. We could give our ifs and ands about him, his ups and downs, but we wore his ass out. We rode his back for 72 games. Sooner or later, the wheels were going to come off.
I think Tibbs actually did him justice. He did him right, because Tibbs knew that with the drafting Obi Toppin, there may not be any way for Bobby Portis to play. So instead, you tell Bobby Portis, listen, man, I ain't gonna keep you here or sign you and then nail you to the bench. Go get you a contract somewhere where you can actually play.
Well, Chandler, Portis was going well.
Yeah, before the draft.
And
before they got Toppin, they just let him walk. Which, and again, where the Knicks were going. But I'm just trying to say.
Hold on. His contract ended the same offseason that they signed Tibbs as the coach.
Right.
Yeah.
They let him go.
So what I'm saying,
the team let him go. Go ahead, Chandler.
Okay, what I'm saying is, I'm pretty sure that they were talking Tibbs. He had some input in the players that they were going to sign and re-sign and this, that, and the third.
Right.
I think that Tibbs knew that because everybody knew that they were going to probably draft Toppin. That was a poorly kept secret. Okay. So if I'm coming in and I already know who we trying to target in the draft, and I already know I got Randle, if we sign Bobby Portis, what's the point in signing Bobby Portis? That's too many forwards. They already had too many damn forwards.
Well, this is the reason, as painful as it is for me to say this, that I give the Knicks front office a D for last year, because you drafted. You're serious. You the only thing you hit pay dirt on was Thibodeau. You drafted wrong. You let that was a luck. Let's be honest. And he wasn't a point guard. We had this discussion when they drafted him. He was never a point guard. He's never going to be a point guard. But you let a point guard get away. You draft a guy that's going to play behind Randle that you're not going to give many minutes to because he's a rookie. You let Portis walk. You didn't get nobody on the open market. You walked away with $18 million, and you ended up being 42-40. With very little effort, guys. I understand the Knicks have a new regime. I have faith in them. Hopefully they do better this year. But last year, they can't get more than a D because they rested on their laurels. They got Thibodeau. The only reason they got Derrick Rose is because the Pistons wanted to get rid of him and the Knicks wanted to get rid of Dennis Smith. And you bring Rose back with Thibodeau. Rose could have nixed that trade.
The reason you do that, though, the way they did it, which I like what they did, is because you needed the new coach to have a season to see what he could do with some of these young guys that you have to make decisions on. So basically this season, the fact that I kept saying the fact that they made the playoffs was all gravy. They were able to see Thibodeau coach the young players and some veterans and say, okay, this guy's a keeper, this guy's not a keeper. This guy's a keeper, this guy's not a keeper. Because you got a bunch of guys that you have to make decisions on. So rather than go and get a bunch of veterans, now I got young players. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with them. Because again, they weren't given, every player on that bench was given an opportunity to step up or not. Kevin Knox was given plenty of opportunities. Ntilikina was given plenty of opportunities. Even in games, we were like, what the hell is he in the game for? They were given opportunities. So now you can move forward with that cap space. Say, okay, this is what I need as a coach. These are the players I want. Right. These players I can't work with. So I like the fact that they did that. But because you can't bring in a new coach and then get rid of all your young players. Say, oh, we got to get some veterans. You need to find out what you have.
But here's the thing. I always got to try to reel people in when they say the young guys. We had 2 young guys on our team last year. Toppin and Quickly. That was it. Everybody else on the team was vets.
Barrett is young. Knox
he wasn't
Frank
a rookie.
Is young also.
They weren't
young
like
doesn't mean rookie. Young doesn't mean rookie.
I'm just saying when everybody says these young guys,
yes.
we basically played 1.5 of them young guys that we picked up under this regime, guys. I'm talking this regime. Yeah,
Knox got plenty of time early in the season. He got plenty of opportunities early in the season.
Stay with me, Chandler. I'm saying this regime. The players this regime picked up just didn't match with what we needed.
Because they needed to find out about what they had previous before you start restocking.
They didn't have many previous. We had Randall. We had Barrett.
Randall's a young veteran.
We're saying
didn't name the players.
We're seeing what they had.
Yes.
So what they had was Randall,
young veteran.
Barrett. We're saying what they had, guys. I'm not talking age. I'm talking what they had. If we're looking at, we want to see what they look at, what they have.
Yes.
Who did they have? Randall, Barrett,
Robinson.
Didn't have Burks. They had Robinson, who, believe it or not, guys, if you check the numbers, the Knicks got better without him.
Knox
didn't do nothing. He was the same. He was the same Knox, and Ntilikina was the same Ntilikina.
Okay, but the new coach needed to see that.
But you don't, Chandler. Come on, I'm not saying we're smarter than Thibodeau. Don't take this the wrong way. But we've seen them long enough, and I'm pretty sure
he didn't coach them. He did not coach them. Right, so I want to give my new coach, and I'm gonna say to them, do you want to coach these guys?
Okay, now
listen, don't think Thibodeau didn't have a say in the players that were
but also don't think Thibodeau came in there blind as a bat. He knew these players, he knew their reputation, he knew their work ethic, whatever you want to say. But all that being said, guys, when you go back to saying we want to see what they had. And what they had was the same what they had before Thibodeau.
Actually, no. This is very different.
I'm talking the front office adding pieces to what they had. They didn't do a good job, guys. They didn't. Nobody knew the Knicks were going to take top. That shocked everybody.
Dude,
we were going in there looking for a point guard.
Actually, Toppin fell to them.
Right, I remember, Chandler, me and you on the Bleed Blue show. We were talking Halliburton.
Yes, but also I kept saying they better not draft Obi Toppin because we kept hearing about Obi Toppin. Mac, you know this. Mac, I kept saying they're going to mess around and draft their kid and they shouldn't draft him.
Right, but you remember, Chandler, again, we went into the draft, free agency, the moon, needing to fill one position we haven't filled in 20 years. And you dropped the ball on that. So again, what I'm saying is hopefully they learn their lesson. And again, even everything I'm saying, guys, they still walked away with $18 million in the bank.
Okay, what point guard is in the draft this year? It's not really a real point guard in the draft this year.
Well, we can't even think about this year. What are we, 19th and 21 or 20 and 22?
This is actually when you could get a good, solid veteran point guard from a guy from a team like, say, not Gonzaga, because Southern's going to go too high. But there is going to be some good point guards there, but I don't think the Knicks are going to draft one. They're going to screw it up again.
I don't think, again, because I don't believe all this hype because I watch college basketball. I don't see that many stellar point guards coming out. And being the Knicks are drafting so late, the Knicks' best bet might be to try to acquire one through a trade, something, and maybe have to parlay those picks. Because again, we're talking late first round picks in a draft that's not that deep. In a draft, we really haven't seen these guys in a really full blown college season. So it's iffy this time, guys. Very.
I don't
iffy.
believe that this draft is light, like everybody says. What I think people are basing it on nonsense because they're only looking at this COVID season when they're not looking at some of the guys that are going to be coming out who have some experience. I think this draft is going to be deeper than people think. There's going to be players in this draft that 2 years from now, people are, I don't believe they could. I don't believe. How did you not draft this guy? How did you not draft this guy? Right, I think there's far more players in this draft than people believe.
But that happens every year, Chandler. I just think Dominic. I just think knowing our goal is to get a point guard. You got to get that point guard any way you can, whether it's parlaying those picks, maybe a couple of players. Because guess what? How many guys do the Knicks even have under contract? I think Burke was on that one and done.
They had a lot of free agents.
Right. So unless you could do sign and trades, you're really, in other words, you're really rolling some big dice to think you're going to get a real future point guard that late in the draft.
I think
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think there's one there. Now, whether they draft or not is a whole different conversation. But I'll tell you what, if it's up to me, and if they did this with this season in mind, I think they're going to have a lot of open spots. I try to pry Buddy Hield. I try to pry Buddy Hield away from Sacramento. He's unhappy there. They want him gone. He wants to go. I try to pry him away. I signed Lonzo Ball. Buddy Hield is a knockdown shooter. Okay. I get me Alonzo Ball because I don't have to spend as much money at the point guard spot. And I get myself a true and actual rim protector. Those are the three moves I make.
Well, on that note, my battery is dying.
I'm tired and hungry.
Oh.
Mac, you always tired. You guys don't do nothing.
He ain't got no damn job, man.
Watch him.
Hey, yo.
Hey, Chandler, you ever notice how much they be texting during the day? I be like, damn, these motherfuckers got it better than me.
Man, my phone go off every 2 seconds.
Not only does they be killing my watch battery, I got to figure out how to cut off some of these alerts.
You know what's funny? I'm in other chat groups, and y'all tend to text all at the same time. Sometimes
I be wondering.
Anyway, this has been another edition of In the Paint, the realest show in sports, the realest show ever. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's In the Paint Media Group. I'm Max 611. My brother and co-host R. Jones had to bounce. So I was in the mix with these hooligans, Chandler, my brother Reg, and my brother Dominic. So check us out. We'll be back soon. Be safe. Those of you in hot places, keep the air conditioning on. Yes, I'm sweating.
Me too.
Be blessed. Peace.
Peace.
Later, Mark.